Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Wolters World, and today we are back at home after 7 weeks of traveling. We were in Austria, Austria, Hungary, Slovakia, Slovenia, Czech Republic, Netherlands, Belgium, Luxembourg, France, Rwanda, and Tanzania, and it's been a whirlwind summer to say the least, and there's more stuff to come, but we're back home for a while. So hopefully I'll be able to get some of those new videos out and get things started. Jocelyn will be here in a sec. She's getting herself all prettied up for you so we all can enjoy. Oh, she even has a beautiful dress as well that she got in Paris with her new haircut she got in Paris as well, which is also very nice. So she's looking fantastic as always. So the trip was actually pretty cool doing all these things during the summer. I mean, obviously when you get to travel, it's always fantastic, but we really got to see a lot of new and exciting places. Rwanda and Tanzania were just beyond what we ever expected. The people were, and the thing is, yes, in Tanzania you see a lot of animals, you see the big five and stuff like that, and you feel like when you're in the Serengeti, you're going through the Lion King and stuff. But I'll be honest, for me, and then probably for Jocelyn, it was meeting the people in Rwanda and Tanzania that really, really made the trip so wonderful. So that was really cool. So we had a really good time with that. So
absolutely.
Yeah. And then someone wrote, hey, Brad Duffy, when is your family coming to Scotland? I'll actually be there later this summer. You might see my mom and I wandering around in Edinburgh or in the Shetland Islands or something like that. So we'll be back.
I don't know. What are we talking about?
We're not
today?
talking about anything. We just started. We just started.
We don't have a theme.
So what planes, that's what's your worst experience on a plane? Would that be the big drops you had?
Oh, yeah. Mark and I both, you have, I think, too. I've been through the remnants of a hurricane once, and when you drop 150 feet at a time or something, and that's sort of vomit-inducing. I mean, I didn't, but I was getting close. It was pretty frightening. I thought we were going to die. So that would be the worst for me. Yeah, we had one. We're flying back around Christmas time. This is years ago, and we're flying from the Canary Islands back to Germany. Almost like a leftover hurricane kind of thing that was there that never really happens, but the weather conditions were like that. And we had a huge 1,000-meter drop and then another, huge drop. And we all think we're just going to die. I mean, these people are screaming in the plane. It was pretty bad. But the thing is, it was a charter. And so a lot of people had paid their one fee to go someplace for the Canary Islands for the weekend to go drinking. And so there was this couple around there that was so pissed off because they're like, we cannot serve any drinks. Everyone has to stay in their seat, locked in. It's not safe now. And they and these people were yelling, give me my beer. I paid for this flight. It's all included in my trip. And they're like, no, sir. And so the flight attendant actually had to come to get them to sit down. I mean, it was horrible. And then we landed in Cologne. For my friend that was writing before about Cologne, Cologne's worth visiting any time of the year. It's a really cool
city.
city.
But we landed in Cologne, and I'd only been in Germany, living in Germany for a few months at that time, so my German wasn't super good. But I kind of got the point they were saying, with all this turbulence and everything, if you want to just take the train from Cologne to Berlin, we will gladly just give you the tickets. It's no problem at all. And my friend and I both knew a little bit of German, and we're like, wait, did they just say a lot of turbulence and we can get a free ticket? And some people got up and got off. And then we finally figured out, hey, we want to go. Oh, no, we already shut the door. You can't go. We're oh. So we had to last a little bit to go. But, that was a little scary. So, yes. I did not get a new haircut. Oh, you mean Jocelyn? Yes. For those asking, yes, Miss Jocelyn did get a new haircut.
I donated almost 14 inches to cancer patients in France. And I thought that was a really fun thing to do. So I hope somebody else out there considers it. If you're considering chopping off an insane amount of hair at one time, do it and give it to, that's not much.
I know, I got it. Especially on top. Thanks, Ben.
I love you. I want to answer, Tina Daniels is going to the Christmas markets and she's asking if things are hard to ship. It might be from each little kiosk within the market, but it's actually not very difficult to get all your stuff together and go to DHL and ship it home.
Or just go to Deutsche Post if you're in Germany.
Yeah, the
German
Post is a really good system. And then I want you to answer that.
Archie's?
Yes, please.
Archie writes, hey, I'm going to Japan next year in March with my school. I watch your videos on it, but do you have any more tips? I covered a lot of the stuff in there. If you go with your school, most likely they're going to have everything kind of set up beforehand. One thing I see when there's ever any school trips or tours, people just decide not to prepare. They just let the tour kind of tell them everything. And you usually get some free time to enjoy, like Tokyo or Kyoto or something like that. Do some research before you go to see if there's any special sites that are not on your itinerary that you want to go see. Because what will happen is when I take students abroad, like I make them all do like a presentation on the different cities we're going to go to, so then they at least have a clue of what to see. Because one time I did that and I did not have them do that, and they would just were like wander around the city. They went to a bar and just sat there like, oh, there was stuff to see in Vienna. I'm like,
it's Vienna, yo.
Yes, there's plenty to see there. So I would say check some things out that way, because there are some really amazing things you'll see just by walking around. But your school group will have you pretty limited and like pretty structured what you're going to do. So when you have that free time, make sure you can actually do what you want with it.
Hi, Thomas. Not far away. There was another one there that you just... He keeps moving.
So, hey, I'll just say hi to people as she goes by. Hi, everybody in Canada and Florida that road. Good to see you. Hey, in Germany. Our buddies in California. Hope you're all safe here in Southern California with the earthquakes and stuff. And the Northern California. Hope you're all doing well. Hey, everybody in Malta in the UK. Good to see you there. So Jocelyn's like scrolling across the list here, so I can't really read anything because she's like scrolling by.
I'm sorry. I went the wrong direction.
Not picturing a thing. Yes, it's changed.
Terrible wife.
No, you're not a helpful live feed helper hoster. Hey, in Ireland. Good to see you.
Bruno wants recommendations on a walking shoe. So... my biggest thing for shoes, anywhere I'm going, is that they have a tough sole and that they be lightweight. I don't personally, I love Adidas Superstars because they just sort of fit in wherever you go, something like that, or Converse, Vans, those kind of things. Those are really good, like tennis shoe type things to wear, but they're not overly heavy, and they have a thick, tough sole. That's the big thing for me. I also like the upper part to be either leather or with a lot of cotton, so that it forms to my foot, but also gives a little bit of breathing. So those are my recommendations. Those are my tips for like my rules for shoes.
But also when you try them out, make sure they're comfortable, because a lot of people go for like, I bought a pair of Merrells a few years ago to take to Iceland, and they were supposed to be great. And I'm like, okay, these are supposed to be great. And then they never broke in, and that just made my feet actually hurt the whole time. So
he didn't like his, but I loved mine because they were super lightweight. And again, they had a really good sole, and we climbed a lot. We were doing a lot of hiking there.
So JK 1776, do you always carry your passport on your person, or do you photocopy with a passport stored in the hotel room? We store our passports in the hotel room in the lock, like in the safe there. We always put them in there. We have our normal IDs from the U.S. Like that's our kind of like, we have that to give. But also we store on our phones. We have our passports on there, so people need it. So if there's any really issues, like we have this and it's in the hotel, so we do have that. Now there's some countries that you have to have your IDs with you all the time, but usually like a government ID from your home country, and then you go look, it's at my hotel, which I'll gladly take you to and show you.
They're usually pretty cool with that.
Yeah, they're usually pretty cool with that.
Yeah.
So, Blorgus, thank you very much for the super chat. We appreciate that. Aaron Meeser, thank you again for your super chat as well. Hey guys, I'm going to Lisbon and Porto for a week in December. What is the third best city town to visit in Portugal? So if you're going for a week and you go between Lisbon and Porto, what I would do is I don't want you to have to go out of your way when you're doing that. One thing you could do is on your way up to Porto, you can stop in Coimbra, which is a university town. Got some cool stuff. The library there at the university is unbelievable to check out, so get a tour of that. If you just want to do kind of a day trip kind of thing, so way outside, you have Sintra or Évora for day trips from Lisbon that you can do easily on the train or a bus. And then if you're going in Porto, you can do day trips either to Braga, or actually I like Guimarães, which is where Portugal was actually really founded, and this is like a stone city, which is really cool. So those would be the ones I would say to do. So I hope that helps you out.
I agree with every one of those.
Yeah. So Dr. Angela Giles, how do you protect yourself from pickpocketers? Well, like we said before, the valuables and stuff like that are stored at the safe at the hotel, or we actually don't bring very many valuables. Like I still don't have my wedding ring. One, because I'm fat, but two, because I didn't want to take it with us on our trip. So.
And I just have like a plain silver ring that I actually made myself in college, but nothing like. No, don't wear blingy stuff. Don't, make sure your purse is zipped. That's a pretty...
Yeah, you'll be surprised how many people you'll see walking around with their purses or their bag just unzipped because they got something else and they didn't zip it back up. I mean, I remember in Lisbon, going up the escalator, these guys would just sit there and just unzip and then reach in. Like, if you're already... You might notice them unzipping, but most of the time you don't. But if your bag's already unzipped, you don't notice when people go in and take stuff. So... that is one of the other things. Also, anytime I'm in public transportation, stuff like that, my wallet's in my front pocket, in my back pocket. If you're in a place like La Rambla in Barcelona, or you're in the metro in Rome near the Colosseum, the Vatican City,
Paris metros.
Paris metro stops, and some of the big, more popular stops, you'll have a lot of pickpockets there. And so, like, those ones, you have to just be extra careful. So,
well, be extra careful, be extra aware, and the more you look like a local, the less likely you are to be targeted by pickpockets. So,
yeah, because locals don't walk around with a bunch of cash, whereas tourists do.
Yeah, so the more you can look normal for there, the better. So, like, I like to buy my clothes where I am, and then I feel like I fit in a little bit. So take cues from the other people around you.
So, kids' perspective family travel. Is it difficult for your kids to maintain friendships when traveling so much? Any tips to help? Our last trip was 7 months long, and the kids struggle with friendship back home. So our boys actually done pretty well keeping their friendships up while we've been traveling. Some things I would say, it sounds kind of silly, but like, it's amazing when you have games like Clash Royale or a Nintendo Switch or Fortnite where the friends are still playing with each other, though it's online. And I know a lot of parents don't want to take those things when they go abroad or have their kids play on those. But with such a long trip, sometimes it's good to give them something that's still related back to home, because it also gives them something to talk about with their friends when they do get back, so they kind of stay connected that way. But I found that, like, our son Caleb has his buddy Junior in Barcelona. He's got Martine in the UK, and they'll play. I mean, they don't play every day, but they'll play like once a week or once every week where they're talking. So when we go and visit our friends or their parents again, they like hit back up in their friendship kind of stuff.
Their friendship takes off again. It's like they haven't really missed a lot of time. So, but like on this trip, because we didn't have connectivity very much when we were in Serengeti and stuff, the kids didn't get to do that as much. But then once we got back to Europe and they were able to again, they were playing. You know what? Another one is crazy. And maybe you can't do it because you're going for 7 months, but we traveled with friends on this trip for almost 2 weeks, and mom, dad, and their 2 sons were all together, and it kind of helps to just have another kid their age. That was a lot of fun.
So hope that helps out. Thank you, Becca Johansson. I appreciate your super chat there. Thank you very much. So we got some other questions up here that got scrolled by. Trying to scroll back up.
Someone asked about books while traveling. So I read. I'm a prolific reader. Obviously, we have a library instead of a dining room, and most of my shelves are overflowing. So I love books, but I really like to just take my Kindle, and I like to buy books like about the place that I'm going. Like there's one called Paris, and it's like an epic novel. It, spans generations. And so maybe read that before you go to France or while you're in France. Those kind of things. I like historic fiction things that are set in the place where I'm going to be, whether it's historic or modern fiction.
Mm-hmm. So, where would it go? I just had one. Oh, Robert Riedling. Free walking tours of European cities. They usually catch. No. They've gotten better, I would say, in the last 3 or 4 years. They've gotten much better. Because I remember 3 or 4 years ago when I would go and I'd go on something for a little bit, it's like they just read the Lonely Planet book or the Rick Steves book. We're just reciting it word for word. And it was mostly college students doing it. So like you couldn't get many, like your questions could only be basic. You wouldn't get a lot of in-depth stuff. So if you go in thinking, okay, I'm going to get a nice overview of the city kind of stuff, they're fine. But just know that you're probably not going to get a lot of in-depth stuff. And the thing is, if you get bored, you can walk away and don't have to tip them. But at the end, they usually, appreciate a tip or something like that. So if you're walking off, you can throw them some bucks, just to say thanks. So there is that. What else? Oh, somebody was asking about Brussels, Madrid in the fall, in September. Yeah, September is a great time to go pretty much anywhere in Europe because you still have decent weather and all the students are back in school, so you're not fighting a lot of the family travel people and stuff like that.
That's kind of my favorite time to go almost anywhere in the world because nobody's traveling because they've all just gone back to school. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and you actually see that because you'll see prices will start dropping. Lines are a lot shorter, all kinds of stuff. It's easier to get hotels and flights and stuff like that, so that's nice. So the Inquisitor, have you done Toulouse yet? We have not. I want to go there because of the Science Museum that's there, so we'll probably be there in October this year, so hopefully we'll be there for that. Let's see. Jimmy UK, how do you deal with holiday blues? So is that? I guess that's coming back from your vacation, going, I got to go back to work. I don't know. I'm still trying to get back into that. I'm trying to get over that one because right now I'm like, I don't want to get back to work. I need to edit tomorrow's video together. I need to get other stuff because on our other channel, Professor Wolters, if you look up youtube.com/Professor Wolters, I have a second channel which is all like marketing, marketing education, YouTube tips, stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, I got these things done, so I got to get all this stuff done, and it's tough to get started back in there. So I think one of the best things to do is have some time, give yourself a day when you get back. Because a lot of times it's like you get back from vacation, go straight to work, and that sometimes that's too much. You just need that day to decompress and then go, and that can be kind of helpful. So,
someone's asking Turkey, Tunisia, or Morocco. All good destinations.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I've liked them all. So
that's a really hard thing. Maybe just prioritize them, and you could maybe do Tunisia and Morocco together though.
Yeah, you can fly to Morocco.
That would be pretty easy. So maybe do 2 trips.
Well, I mean, you could do from Turkey because Turkish Airlines go to all those places, so you'll be okay there. So. Sorry we're not helpful with the final answer, but that should help you.
That wasn't really helpful. Sorry.
Olga Shenfield, how do you travel a lot with your kids being at school, especially Caleb? He's in middle school. We have a very understanding school, and we travel at all their breaks. And we don't always take the kids with us. We take them with us like 80% of the time.
Yeah. I'd say 80. But, often the kids, we do everything around their holidays. If there's a 4-day weekend, we may have them miss a day of school on either end. And take them, but the teachers are really cool about it because they know they're learning. So they're a lot more apt to not be upset. And our kids, they take their work with them and they just do that on the plane. And when you've got like 5 to 7 hour flight, you can get a lot of homework done.
Mm-hmm. So Titus Kirkland, what are the tips you would recommend for traveling by yourself? So solo travel, we actually get a lot of questions about this. And I think we do have a 511 Hates of Solo Travel video that could help out. But in general, when I see solo travel, one thing I see a lot of people do is sometimes they get a little depressed sometimes because they're like, I don't have anything to share with people. I don't have any of these things there. So sometimes what I would do when I was traveling alone is I would, back in the day, I would stay at a hostel occasionally to meet other travelers so I could have people to hang out with for a bit and have like a travel buddy for the next couple of days and stuff like that. Also, give yourself a day of nothing because sometimes when you travel by yourself, like, I got to see everything I want to see. I got to see it all. I got to see it all. And then you don't take the time to relax and kind of take stuff in and you get burned out. And then you don't have anybody to like talk to and deal with stuff.
Yeah, do nothing days are important for sanity, whether you're traveling alone or with maybe even more when you have other people, right?
Yeah. So I hope that helps. Next up, Henry Martinez. Hey, buddy.
Hey.
I hope you're doing okay. I hope everybody's okay over where you're at, man. Mark and Jocelyn, do you still plan on going to VidCon in California? Have you guys heard of TravelCon? What will be in May next year in New Orleans? So I was going to go to VidCon. I actually have tickets to go there, but I'm not going to go because, like you talk about the burnout,
I get to keep him home.
Yeah, so because when I look through there, because here's the thing: is like going to VidCon and stuff like that is not cheap. I mean, the tickets aren't bad. But the thing is, if you're going to stay in LA for a week, I mean, the hotel prices and stuff like that. And I went to the VidCon in London. I enjoyed it. And when I looked through the stuff on VidCon in California this year, it was a lot of the same people. So I'm like, do I want to spend $2,000 or $1,000, however much it is in hotel room stuff to go there, or should I be better just like to relax at home and save that money for going to another thing? So,
and also, he was speaking at VidCon London, so that's like another ball game when you're speaking at something.
Yeah, if I was invited to speak there, I'd be going no matter what. I mean, I still have to cancel my tickets, but we were going to go there. And then there's TravelCon, which is run by Nomadic Matt, which I've heard is actually a pretty decent conference. I have not gone because they've always been when I've been traveling. So like next year it's in May in New Orleans. I already know I won't be able to go because in May every year once school's out, I'm either teaching abroad or doing something like that. And the thing is a lot of these conferences, they're really cool, but a lot of times I've actually been on a few forums about this, and it's like once you go to one, you kind of see this, it's like the same people over and over again, so you're not really, it's like the diminishing returns after you go to one is significant, so you got to find ones that has a lot of new faces and stuff like that. So you got to be careful. So I hope that helps you
I
out.
want to answer a question. Okay.
Let's see. Jennifer Gibbons, thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate that. Any guidance on reducing expenses of family travel in Switzerland?
No. Groupon?
Yeah, no, they don't do Groupon there.
Switzerland's expensive.
Switzerland is expensive. I would say limit the amount of time you're staying there. But no, I mean, there are some things you could...
They have really good hostels.
Yeah, really good hostels. But also look up Airbnb or vacation rentals, because with a family and you're gonna have to get 2 hotel rooms. I mean, even the the apartment rentals will be expensive, but it'll be easier and cheaper that way, because going out to eat will get you even more. So then you can eat in. That'd be something I would do. Also, if they have like a Zurich pass or something like that, a family pass, I would definitely look into that, because in places like that where the prices are so high, sometimes those expensive like city tickets actually pay off just for like transportation and get into a few museums. So I would definitely look into some things like that. Okay.
Someone had asked a question about packing wine in your luggage. It is doable, but you really need to wrap it up in a lot of clothes and put it in the middle. So like layer of clothes, wrap the thing up really tight in a lot of stuff, and then another layer on top of it. And then ask, when you check your luggage, ask them to put a fragile sticker on it. But you know what's better? Buy a case and ship it home.
Well, someplace if you can.
I know. I've never even done that. But I think about it.
Yeah. But we usually bring, because you limit how much you can bring back. So like we used to bring a couple bottles back. But nowadays with globalization and everything, it's a lot easier to get the wines you find anywhere in the world to find those back home. So that's also another thing to do. So anything you like, we always like take a picture of the menu of the wine or the bottle so we can look for it and have the local wine person here try to find it for us. So Ben Dent, thank you for the super chat, my friend. Says, I'm planning to go to Vancouver in November, but the weather may not be good. Well, it's Vancouver. It's okay. What would you recommend doing? So the thing is, in Vancouver, it's an outdoor city. Like, you want to go explore out. Like, go in the mountains and go hiking, do stuff like that. Go over the suspension, like, not bridge, but like walkways and stuff like that. Those things are really cool. You want to do those things. It's more good for drinking and eating. The architecture isn't really pretty. It's the nature that is there. So bring a pair of good hiking boots so you can go out and explore. Go do some whale watching when you're there. That was actually pretty cool, going the whale watching and going on the boat tour and stuff like that. So you do have that. Also, eat lots of sushi, because they have fantastic sushi there. So that's another thing to look out for. Let's see. What else? We're jumping around again. Hold on. Oh, Becky Johansson, sorry. I have a service dog. Any advice traveling, especially in Asia and the Middle East? In terms of service dogs, you need to look, first off, I would talk to the airline you're going to fly with, what they recommend you can do. And then in the countries you're going to be going to, their tourism boards will have it, well, they should have advice on service animals and traveling with service animals. And so there should be like either FAQs about that on there, or you can tweet at them or write them directly, and they usually have some information there. And I found that a lot of cities will actually, like bigger cities will actually have organizations that specialize for tourists that use service dogs and stuff like that. So that would be my recommendation for you, Becca. So I hope that helps out. And thank you for the super chat, by the way. Like, okay, Jocelyn.
Yusuf Noor, looking to visit Tokyo in September. How long would you recommend I stay there? So we did 10 days and we split it between Tokyo and Kyoto. And I think we got a pretty good overview of both places. I mean, I'd like to go back and do other places in Japan and have a little more in-depth stuff. But I would say that Tokyo, you could you'd do well in 5 days. You'd see a lot. It's a massive city and there's so much there. But I feel like you could get the major stuff done in 5 days and not be overly beat up.
Yeah. So Paul Kamilski, hi Mark and Jocelyn, hope all is well with both of you and the boys. Yep, we're doing good. I'm planning a December trip to Strasbourg. Strasbourg, those who don't know, that is the Christmas capital of France. Amazing Christmas markets, the little France there. That gets just a gorgeous town. What's the weather like at that time? What to see? Basically, actually, we have if you just put Strasbourg Wolters World, I've got a top 10 and a 511 hates in there that'll help you out with some more specific stuff. But that's one of the things. They have a really nice folk museum there, but you're going to walk around and like with all the little canals and stuff like that, and with all the Christmas things out there, you'll be busy visiting all those things. So you'll be fine. I would spend at least 2 full days there.
Weather's chilly. Probably not a ton of snow, but it'll definitely be chilly. Somebody asked about doing their master's degree in something about maybe at Coimbra or something, and they were studying economics. So Mark did his master's degree in Germany, and you enjoyed it. You had a really good time. So look at the language stuff. You need
Coimbra,
to.
They'll have most of it in English.
It'll be in English, but you're still living in another country. So
yeah, I mean you're going to be living in a smaller university town.
Small.
I mean it's fun, and like the students will have a good time there when they have their
Coimbra's
Queima das Feitas, when they burn the little pieces of cloth on their gowns. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. So
anyway, let's see. Next up, Kumar, do you like Poland? Yes, we do like Poland. It's a really nice place. There's some really nice cities to check out. I know they really push the rural tourism there, which if you're not into rural tourism, just stick to the cities like Krakow and Gdansk and stuff like that, Wrocław. There's some really nice things there. Let's see. TMCB. I'm going to Berlin with my family this summer. Anything recommend we would otherwise miss? Well, when you're there...
Small towns.
In Berlin?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to Berlin.
Hold on.
I read Germany.
Yeah, no, I would say if you're going to go to Berlin, Museum Island with a ton of museums on it. The Pergamon Museum is my favorite museum.
Awesome.
It has the gates of Babylon and Pergamon altar and stuff like that there. You can check that out. Also, the Checkpoint Charlie Museum, which goes through the Berlin Wall and stuff like that and how people escaped and stuff like that is definitely worth visiting. Really just seeing the Brandenburg Gate and the Jewish Memorial that's right by there, that's also really nice. There's a lot of really good stuff to see there, so you'll be fine when you are there. So,
yeah. Okay. I'm sorry.
No.
What's the round thing on the box behind you? Oh, it's a little replica of the
astronomical
church.
clock.
Yeah, the clock thing. Right?
Yeah.
That's the name of that church. Right? TYN?
No, that's on the town hall.
Oh, that's on town hall.
Yeah, it's on the town hall prop. So let's see. Here, hi, Erica Ransom. Nice to see you. You're welcome, Jennifer. So what you don't realize is what goes by here, we don't necessarily see at the same speed. And then when we try to answer questions, it gets kind of like put back. So if you haven't answered your question, feel free to put it up a couple of times. We're not trying to skip anything. It's just hard to get through all the questions and everything. And we all both get a little long-winded sometimes. Sorry.
Heidi asked if there were any countries that we would book a tour company through simply for transportation. And we've actually done that a lot.
A lot?
Well, not a lot, but several times in
times.
Central and South America. We did it in Peru and Ecuador and Costa Rica. And mostly because I don't like to drive in mountains. That's what it came down to.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, I thought you meant like a tour.
No, we did.
No, yeah, no, because
went into Nicaragua.
Yeah, because that's the thing is there's some places that it's just easier to hire a driver to do stuff like Costa Rica, Nicaragua. It's a whole industry where they'll just get drivers for you to take you places, so your hotel will set it up for you just fine. Michael Mon, hey buddy.
Hi, Michael.
Thank you for saying some words to that guy before, buddy. I
appreciate that a lot too.
Hi, Mark and Jocelyn. Solo trip to Paris coming up. Aww. First time visit and hoping that 7 days is enough to do the city justice. Thanks for the live chat. Well, we're glad we can help, Michael. We've got plenty of videos on that. I think 7 days, you'll get a good start. I mean, you'll get a good feel for it. We've gone multiple times. It's still hard to see everything.
We're still seeing new things.
One of the things to remember, Tuesdays, the Louvre is closed. Going up the Eiffel Tower, if you're scared of heights or claustrophobic, don't waste your time for that. So that would be two things. But there's so many little museums to see around. You can really do a lot of stuff.
Get museum passes and obviously book tickets like to the Louvre and things early. Or just book them ahead of time online. You can even do it like the day before, and you can usually get your time and get in there. And I mean, you could spend a week just in the Louvre, right? But there's a lot of things you can get done in 7 days.
Yeah, what I would do is I would plan something for your like a morning and an afternoon activity, just so you're not trying to do too much stuff in one day. Because with 7 days, you got time, so you can really like look. I want to do this and this, like in this area, so I could walk around and see the neighborhood and see the museums in that day. So like two things: a morning and afternoon, and have lunch along the way. Remember, you can save a lot of money at the lunch specials there.
Titus Kirkland asked, "I've seen this go by once before. Do you have a video on the best and worst airlines to fly?" You know what? We don't. Part of that is because airlines change all the time.
Yeah, like we used to love United, and now we hate United. And we used to hate Delta, and now we love Delta, and now. Well, Delta's...
We've had a couple of not great experiences lately with service.
With service. So, like, that's why it's one of those things. It's kind of like when people ask about restaurants. Like, a lot of people ask, hey, where should we go eat? Where should we go eat? And I just say, it's like, look up the Yelp reviews. Look up on Yelp, and Yelp's better than TripAdvisor. But look on there, because then you're actually going to get, like, some input from people that are there recently, because you'll be surprised how fast hotels, restaurants, places change. So that's why we don't usually say specific restaurants, because they change.
Somebody asked who our favorite blues musician was. I'm going to say Johnny Winter.
Yes, you are a big fan of his. He is good. Inat1622, any plans on doing a video on Israel? Yes, actually more than one, quite a few. Actually, we're going there later this year. So we will have plenty of Israeli videos coming.
We have not flown Air China, so I can't tell you anything one way or the other.
High Spring Flower, I'm glad we could be your favorite travel family.
So please answer my... Okay. Go ahead.
Please answer to mine about Bergen and Fjords cruise. Where should we take the cruise from Voss or Bergen? How many days is enough for Norway? So Sona, you can go from either one. I'd probably recommend going from Bergen because Bergen's got more connections. It's easier to get to. It's a bigger city. There's more stuff going on there. So it just makes your life a little bit easier. That's what I would say. But doing the cruises and stuff like that of Norway is actually probably cheaper than traveling Norway on its own. So that's probably a good way to do things. So I hope that helps out. Rev, we've never been to Siberia. We've flown over it, but we've never been there. Let's see. Stephen Evans, do you think your children will travel with you when they are teenagers? Yes, because they have no choice. I mean, we've had the times where, Caleb was like, he's 12 now, almost 13, and he's like, I don't want to go. I want to be with my friends, which is totally normal for a junior high kid, middle school kid. And we're like, don't worry, we'll be back so you can have time with them and stuff like that. And he's kind of getting it now that this is kind of a special thing, so that's been really okay. But, we talked about going to Antarctica. He's like, I'm not going to Antarctica. I'm like, well, your brother's got to be a bit older, and you're going to be in college, so it's going to be up to you if you want to go then, so...
Yeah,
so
but
we'll
I have
see.
this feeling that... I don't know. I can't imagine them not traveling just because we do it so much now. So
yeah. So Aviation Pro, hey buddy, good to hear from you. Hey guys, good to see you live. How was your recent KLM experience?
It was pretty good.
Yeah, we flew KLM from Amsterdam to Kigali in Rwanda, and then we flew back from Kilimanjaro to Amsterdam. Flight was fine. The plane was great. I was very happy with that. The experience overall was nice. Food was okay. We never got our miles from Delta for it or our MQMs to help with our stuff. So I'm fighting with Delta right now, trying to get the things since we bought the tickets through them. But otherwise, KLM was very nice. The people helped us out a lot. What's cool is that, it was nice. I mean, I like KLM. It's fine.
Yeah.
So like if I have a choice, I'll try to fly through Amsterdam to Europe versus Paris, just because less strikes and it's a lot smoother experience than Schiphol when you fly through there. Hey, Rod in Germany and Costa Rica. Wow, 2 places at one time. You're good, man. You're awesome. Let's see.
Wait, we had one. Def Leopard Rules Rock.
Oh, thank you for the super chat.
Thank you.
Thoughts on solo travel in Rio de Janeiro? Late nights, be careful. Leme Beach is probably the safest beach to go to.
Also the safest
area in the city to stay in.
Don't hang out in favelas.
Yeah, don't do the favela tours. That's not usually a good idea. Another thing I would look at is if you're going to be there, realize there's more than just Rio and Brazil, so you can actually get to some other places.
And
relatively
up
nearby.
north is really nice. Like, I really enjoy northern Brazil.
And the airline GOL, GOL, they're a co-chair with Delta as well. They're fine. I've flown with them multiple times, and we've had no problems with them, so that's been really nice.
Thanks, Catherine.
Thanks, Becky Doherty. I like my hair, too.
Okay.
Let's see.
Do we ever plan on going full-time with the YouTube?
If YouTube offered insurance. No, we're...
Mark's a professor through and through.
Yeah, I love my teaching.
DNA.
That's why there's the second channel, Professor Wolters, where I started really putting videos up probably about 3 months ago on that channel. So I'm trying to develop that one for teaching marketing and YouTubing and stuff like that. But we'd have to have like 3 channels doing crazy to justify quitting. And we're just not there because a lot of people don't realize this. I mean, people ask like, how much do you make in YouTube? And isn't it great? I'm like, yeah, you make a little bit of money, but it's not something, I mean, you can't support the family on it like where we're at. So right now, no, that's not anything. I mean, if we got insane huge and we're making decent money and we could do some stuff, then maybe. But right now, I mean, insurance.
I also kind of like.
I love traveling. I love teaching.
Coming home too, and having time here where we're not on the road, and just being like normal for a minute. Somebody asked if we'd considered Saudi Arabia, and we've been talking about that area just in general, and we'll get there. A lot of it has to do with time and weather. When we have enough time to make it worth our while and the expense that it's going to cost us to go there, we need to be able to do that when the weather isn't astronomically hot.
Yeah, and it's the same thing, and that's why it was
things for me.
Yeah, because people get upset with us because we don't go certain places. And it's like, no, it's not that we don't want to go there. Like, we haven't been to Southeast Asia yet. We just haven't done it yet because of the time. And also, like, when we have time to take the kids for a couple months, it's May, June, July, August. When it's rainy season, mid-May, June, July. So they're like, well, I'm not going to go in monsoon season someplace, because I've seen other travel vloggers and they'll go to places like, oh, well, it's low season, it's typhoon season or whatever, or hurricane, and I'll go there to get the lower tickets, and they go and they like, we're flooded out. Oh my god, it's horrible here. I'm like, well, yeah, you want the completely worst time of the year to go. So there is that. I teach marketing, Adam. That's what I teach. No, we haven't been to Hymany Island, sadly. Let's see. Lindsay Yale, entertainment. Go Austria, Germany. Go. Oh, you're going to Madrid to study in 2021? And you'll be traveling when you're there. It is well worth it. Look into EasyJet to fly around to get to places because it's a lot cheaper than taking the trains and stuff like that. So that is one thing. Adam L., unless you're PewDiePie, you can't make a living off YouTube. Off of just YouTube money, that's true. Where a lot of the YouTubers make their money, though, is actually sponsorships. Where companies like those brand deals, you ever see where they're like, oh, I love this brand of notebook. Isn't this the fanciest brand ever? And then they get paid hundreds or sometimes thousands of dollars to do these kind of things. I mean, that's why you see it a lot on Instagram, and they're supposed to say it's an ad or it's a sponsored post and stuff like that. And I'll see a lot Capital One does a lot with a lot of travel vloggers. They're like, oh, look at how Capital One got me all this stuff with my bios and my points and stuff like that.
They also got it because you're sponsored.
Yeah, exactly. So that's one thing is you always got to be careful with anything that's sponsored or ads and stuff like that. And people are supposed to be forthcoming with it, but they're not always forthcoming with it. So do have a heads up. If you click on ads on our website at woltersworld.com, if it's Amazon and you go buy something, we get a percentage of the sale. If you see Amazon at any webpage, if you click on it and go buy something, that person gets 1% to 3% of the sale. Now, it doesn't raise the price for you. It's just that's rewarding them for putting the ads on the site and stuff like that. So there are those things. So do have a heads up for
it. Jesse Cannon.
Oh, sorry.
It was advice about traveling third trimester.
Be careful.
Well, they had a trip booked, got surprise. Doc says okay to go if no complications and within airline regulations. Return before 8 months. So you have to do it in your 7th month, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to tell you, I went at 7 months. My cousin was getting married, and it was just within the U.S. It was fine. Everything was fine as far as the flight and the baby and everything. But oh my gosh, airline seats are uncomfortable. They are 14 times as uncomfortable when you're giant pregnant and you're miserable anyway. So keep that in mind. Also, I know other people who have traveled, second and early third trimester, and all that morning sickness that you had in the beginning kind of seems to come back more so because for whatever reason, maybe your ears are different or something, but you might get a little bit more sick. So talk to your doctor about that.
Yeah. Brad Duffy, thank you for the super chat, my friend. I appreciate it. So when's the best time to visit Orlando from the UK?
September.
September? When it's hurricane season? Maybe not. I would say February. February, not March, but not when it's spring break time. Yeah, November. Yeah, not Thanksgiving week. You want to be early November because usually hurricane season's done by then. February because you have nice weather for us and all the people are still in school, so you don't have any spring breakers down there yet, so that's not a good time to go. Don't go during Christmas and Christmas holidays because that's when it's overrun.
Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter. So April might be okay, yeah.
Well, depending when, it just depends when Easter April. Is. So there's that.
Yeah, not the summer and not Christmas.
Yeah. So Stephen Evans, best small town in Germany. There's a lot of really nice small towns to visit in Germany. You've got Lüneburg, which is cool up by Hamburg if you're there. You've got Quedlinburg and Wernigerode in the Harz Mountains. You got Bamberg, which isn't too small, but it's still kind of small. A smallish city in Bavaria. So there's a lot of really nice places. And that's what I usually say is you're going to go to Munich or Berlin or Frankfurt or something like that. There's a lot of really cute towns outside that you can get to within an hour or two. And so make sure you're going to see that to see some more real old world Germany stuff versus the new glass and steel Germany.
Okay. Madamea videos. I'm not sure I'm getting that right, but I'm worried about going to the U.S. without a credit card. Is it possible to check in at the hotels without one? Not really.
Yeah,
generally speaking, you can have a debit card. You just have to have some sort of
because they want to have extra stuff for you. So that's going to be an issue. Because if you go online and you try to book a hotel room without a credit card, I don't unless you have a bookings or sometimes bookings we have to just guarantee this. It's not for an actual reservation. Yeah, you're gonna have to get something. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Samantha, thank you for the super chat. Thoughts on Mont Saint Michel in August. It's going to be hot. It's going to be
It's
full
gonna
of
be
lots of
full.
tourists. But it is gorgeous. Just have a lot of patience when you go there. The parking lot is packed. The buses that take you up there are packed. Walking up
The tiny little streets are packed.
So be ready for that. But you don't need more than like half a day.
Yeah, no.
I mean, it's gorgeous. And if you want to do the Instagram, I want to get all my pictures, you can spend all day there to get all kinds of stuff when the water's going in and out and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it's beautiful. But if you get frustrated with lots of people and lots of tourists and all kinds of stuff, that is going to be one of the places that you're going to get.
And this is an unpopular opinion, but I don't love Mont Saint Michel. Like, I love it from a distance. I'm happy to drive by and see it. It's a really cool thing. And I've been inside, and it was cool architecturally, but for me, it wasn't worth the hassle of all those people.
Yeah. So, Seth Jaffa, are you planning on visiting Utah? We will get there eventually. We have 5 national parks, great skiing, and surprisingly decent beer. Huh, that is surprising. Stay away June through August if you're planning to go because the parks are insane. Yeah. That's one thing with national parks. Like, I have some friends of mine, what is it, Waterfield Life, and they do RV travel, and they go to all the national parks all over. And they're the same way. It's like you gotta plan it right because otherwise you're just gonna get overrun. So thanks for the heads up, Seth. I appreciate it. Henry Martinez, my buddy, he's back. Thanks, buddy, with the super chat. Mark and Jocelyn, when do you guys think you'll travel to Pakistan? From what I've seen, the mountain scenery is beyond anyone's wildest imagination. So I actually have a friend of mine at work that actually is. He is from Pakistan, and he's actually back in Pakistan now. And we've been talking about trying to figure out a time to go there so he can show us around. So that's eventually on the eventual list. That's on the eventual list there. So hope that helps, Henry. Next up, Midwestern Coaster. Mark, thoughts on Indianapolis? I love their airport. It is one of the fastest airports to get in and out of. And we fly through it a lot. But actually going into Indianapolis, I've got a Noblesville for the concerts, and I've gone downtown a couple times. But I haven't done any videos there, which is pretty funny since it's relatively close. So we'll have to get there eventually.
I like that it's a really clean city, and it's got all the things a big city has, but not it's not overwhelming.
Yeah, because I remember I went and saw U2 there last year, or the year before, and it was easy to park. It was easy to get to the stadium to go watch the thing. So that was really kind of cool. So that was nice. So next up, Baldo, thank you very much for the super chat. Where are you going in Israel? Going to West Bank. Actually, right now we just have 12 days, and we have not set everything up what we're going to do yet. So West Bank's possibility.
Surprise!
Yeah, surprise stuff. So that's one of the things. Another one of the reasons why we're not going to VidCon because we really need to start getting everything put together for the rest of our trips this year.
Yeah. And
then we're starting to think about where we're going to go next year, and Australia, New Zealand, or even Serbia, Egypt. There's a lot of places that we're looking at. So we need to focus down because the traveling is really cool, but we travel and film, and then it's like, wait a minute, I need to take time to actually edit this stuff and do research for new things and take a little break. So hopefully we can get some stuff.
Mayflowers, do you have to book in advance taking the high-speed TGV train from Paris to Strasbourg? Absolutely.
Yeah, because the TGV trains are reservation required, so you actually have to have a seat reservation for it. Sorry, that just popped down.
Okay.
So I'll show you something here in a sec. And what's cool... Hold on, I have it here somewhere. Is you can actually get the app. Where'd it go? There's the Wii app, OUI, but then there's also an app for SNCF, and you can actually get tickets on here. So you can actually book your tickets already, have it on your phone, and get on the train that way. So you have to deal with the lines or anything like that, or any language barrier because they have it in English. So you have to get the Wii app has the OUI SNCF app. That's how you buy tickets. Then there's SNCF app that you can have your tickets on, but you can't buy tickets on there. But you can get the
so just do
times.
the Wii.
Yeah. So it gets sorry. So it gets a little complicated, but it is definitely doable. Let's see.
All right. Who is the best at organized packing? It's me. Mark is not. I mean, he does fine.
I do
with
fine.
Himself. He's not very organized. I put together the kids'
organized.
outfits,
Yes, the kids had no socks or underwear.
No, that's because I switched suitcases out halfway through our trip because we had Europe clothes and we had safari clothes, and then I had to switch them out and send safari clothes back to the States because I wasn't dragging around an extra suitcase.
There you go. What small towns? Well, so we switched in all. Yeah. Anyway, so Eric. Hi, Eric, professional photographer. What small towns are favorites in France to visit? Bonus day picturesque. So small towns and medium-sized towns, I think Rouen can be a really good one because there's relatively near the Normandy, and there's the Rouen Cathedral is fantastic. Also, you have this the Grand like the big clock that's there. How they have the position. There's a lot of really cool pictures you can get of like city stuff in the town. So that's really nice.
Architectural stuff is good there.
Bayeux, if you're in Normandy, is another one, like up in that area. Anywhere in the Loire Valley, because you're going to have the chateaus to photograph and the gardens to go along with them. That could be something really nice there. Arles in Provence, well, right next to Provence, is really nice. Avignon could be something good there too. So you have a lot of choices. And
Provence in general, if you are into like landscape photography and stuff, that would be a good one. Have you ever explored Jacksonville, St. Augustine area? You know what? It's terrible. I haven't been to St. Augustine as a preservationist. It's ridiculous. But I have been to Jacksonville quite a few times when I lived in Savannah. And it's a nice city, but man, there's a lot of driving. It's like I think it's the biggest city in the United States space-wise or something. It's massive.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Germany Travel Personal Guide, otherwise known as Darian. Have you ever been to Garmisch? I love that place. I was at Garmisch with my parents and my aunt and uncle in like 20 years ago. And we had a very nice time there. My aunt really loved it. My uncle really loved it. It was a good time. So that was a really nice one. Sandy Segovia, any feedback on Phoenix?
Flagstaff.
Urban sprawl, Phoenix. Flagstaff, gorgeous mountain stuff. It's
and
just
Sedona.
Fantastic. And
Man,
Sedona was cool.
So I grew up in Tucson. And as a Tucsoner, I never liked Phoenix because it was just a lot of fake grass and it wasn't very desert. Flagstaff, my parents took me there for Christmas every year because as Midwesterners, they thought I needed to see snow. But it's beautiful and it's quaint and like you can really like get the feel for the town in a couple of days. Sedona has been really overrun, but it's still massively pretty and the hiking there is like it's primo. So enjoy.
There you go. So Ryan Toei, what's the price difference between traveling and staying in Asia compared to Europe? Okay, outside of Japan and Korea, going to Asia in general is significantly cheaper to stay, eat, see sights than it is in Europe.
Have your clothes washed.
Have your clothes washed, all that stuff. It's a lot cheaper there than it is in Europe.
But getting there generally is
more expensive.
Twice as expensive.
I wouldn't say twice, but it's
close.
Yeah. So you got to find if you find deals. That's why. And the thing is, you look online, you'll see a lot of digital nomads and stuff like that are based in Thailand and Bali and Indonesia because it's so much cheaper to live there and be there than it is doing it like in Sweden or something like that.
Any restaurant recommendations in Venice?
I'll tell you right now, Venice has probably the worst collection of restaurants in Italy. Because there's so many tourists that come through there that they don't really have to try that hard. Now, there are some good ones there. I shouldn't say that, but...
Find one where people are eating and they're speaking Italian. Yes. You might have a chance.
You might, yeah. So there is that. Let's see. Nigel Marvin, hey, I'm going to Spain for 7 weeks. Study abroad. Very cool. I'm in my last week and I'm beginning to have depression. Lack of better guys. Recommend I survive my last week. Okay, so Nigel, I also studied abroad a number of times. And the last week is tough. So how you're feeling is completely normal because this is what the best advice I got was from Terry Wright, who was my host dad when I was in Australia, and it was the day I was leaving Australia, and I'm like just tears going down because I was so sad to leave. He's like, Mark, today's going to be the worst day of your life and the best day of your life because it's going to be the worst because you're going to say bye to all these friends and this experience and stuff like that. But it'll be the best day because you're going back to, you'll see your family, you'll see your friends and stuff like that, and you'll get back to your normal life and stuff like that. So that's one of those things. It's the best and worst time. But if it's your last week, what I would say to do is like, what are those things you really enjoyed? Get each one of those things done this week so you can actually enjoy that one last time for now, and then you can be ready for your next visit back. So don't worry, what you're going through is a completely normal thing. Let's see.
Hang on, there was something. Is there about finding a good personal guide somewhere and like what our advice was? But I didn't.
Okay, well you look for that. I'll say.
Okay.
Def Leppard rules or Def Leppard rules rock. Is 4 days enough in Toronto? Yes, 4 days enough time in Toronto. Make sure you get to the ROM when you're there. The Royal Ontario Museum. There's amazing stuff there. The art museum that's there. There's art there. Well, there's a bunch of really good museums there. The eating in Toronto is fantastic. I mean, I know Kwai left for LA, but he could have stayed in Toronto and loved it because there's so many international people there, so much international food. That's really kind of a cool place. It is a really cool city. But for me, my favorite thing to visit there is the Hockey Hall of Fame. That is awesome. So that would be one thing I would say definitely check out when you are there. So with your 4 days, you'll get everything covered, so you'll be fine. If you're looking for a day trip, is it Kingston you can go to, or you can go down to Niagara Falls for a day trip kind of stuff?
I'm sorry, I missed somebody's thing, but it was something about finding a good personal guide. And you know what? I don't know about personal guides specifically, but or where you were asking, because I know there was some place there. Rick Steves has really good guides listed in his books. He must put a lot of research and personal experience in those because he has good guides.
Yeah. I mean, it's a network of them. So if you're going someplace, go to your local library, check, or your Barnes and Noble bookstore, and look in the back of the Rick Steves book for their recommendation, and then just get in contact that way. So
how was the Rwanda tour?
Awesome.
I cannot tell you how amazing Rwanda was. Like my face hurt after we'd been there a few days. Just the people are so kind and they're so stinking happy. I know everyone thinks of the genocide and all that went on, but these people have made like this complete 180. They've come back to where they were before that, and they're just Rwandan. They're full of life. Like, you're going up these hills and you see people with like hundreds of kilos of potatoes on a bike, and they're pushing the bike up and they're looking really haggard. And then all of a sudden somebody's walking behind them and just runs up and starts helping them push. They don't know each other. They're just helping. And like the kids, oh my gosh, the kids. Everywhere we went, children would see us and they'd start waving, and then they'd see our kids and they'd start screaming. It was like we had little superstars in the car. And it was just an amazing experience. And I love the way they work like as a village. They have a really unique system, the way people do things together, and I think that Rwanda is a heck of a place.
Yeah. So Joseph Tix is answering back to Jonathan Smith, who had asked about Ireland and how we feel about Ireland. I actually always tell people, if you're looking for a good first trip to Europe, where you're going to drive around, have a cool experience, meet some good people, have some fun, and actually get good food too. As much as we make fun of Irish food, it's actually good stuff there. Ireland is a really good place to go, especially for first-time travelers, or people that want to go for a family road trip kind of stuff, because it's all kind of compact. Everything's really close by, so you're never having like a 10-hour drive. The longest you drive is like an hour and a half or 2 hours, so really goes a long way.
Best glacier viewing experience, Iceland.
Yeah, Iceland was really cool.
Excellent. Yeah.
Yep. Let's see. Okay, I'm scrolling down to some of the newer ones. Okay. Ben Dent, are you going to do more merch? Yes, I'm actually going to be talking to a t-shirt person this week to put together some new shirts and some other merchandise and stuff like that. So hopefully we'll have something for later in July or early August. We'll have a new set of merch coming out. Trying to debate which countries we should focus on, because we've had Britain, we've had Germany. We did one little thing on Italy, so maybe we'll try to figure out some other countries to put in there to try to help out. So that could be fun. Let's see. Henry Martinez, thanks again, buddy. Do you guys have any plans on bringing back the 5 Things You Love and Hate videos? I truly honestly enjoyed these type of videos. I do occasionally have some. I think I was actually going through my book here of some of my videos we have, and I can tell you. Well, you can. Oh, this is
what? I'm going to say that our longtime fans, you, Tosh, the people that have been with us for years, they really seem to like the 5 Love and Hates. So we still do them occasionally. Mm-hmm. We're just not doing them all the time.
Like I think on this trip,
you did a couple.
I did a couple on this trip, but I did probably let's say 15 don'ts videos, probably 7 or 8 shock videos, 2 or 3 love and hate videos. Because a lot of them we've already gone to, so we've already done before. Thank you, Adam, by the way. Adam L. for the super chat. We really appreciate it. It makes a difference for us, buddy. Thank you. But Henry, I have some of them. I think I have probably, of ones I could put out, still filmed, there's probably about 10 to 12 overall. From other trips we've had and stuff like that. Because what will happen is when we go places, I try to look and see what's going to be the most beneficial for travelers. And sometimes I've taken the love and hates and kind of made an amalgamation of that into a don'ts list or into a shock list to help people out. Because I find that those shocks, especially the don't videos and then the shock videos, get a lot more people are getting to see those, and that's helping more travelers in the 5 Love and Hates. Because also the word hate, YouTube doesn't like to promote anything with the word hate in it, so it brings it down in terms of search engine stuff like that. And also the shock stuff, they're not really promoting those kind of things, so it's we got to find other ways to try to help other travelers. So they might not always be a 5 Love and Hates, but you just know the influence is there, buddy. Don't worry.
King Mushroom, have you ever been to a communist country? If yes, what was it like? Yes, we have, and it was no different than anywhere else for us as tourists.
Yeah, well, I remember when I went to Belarus. Well, Belarus is something special. This is years ago.
Yeah, but
it was interesting that you had people come up "Oh, we will help show you around the city." I'm like, okay, this is a little weird, but yeah. So one of those weird things. Let's see. Justin Hill, I'll be visiting the Twin Cities in the U.S. in a couple of weeks' time. Any recommendations for what to visit? Tons of outdoor stuff when you're there. Tons of parks when you're there. People are super nice. If you're there during America, if you're there when they have the Minnesota State Fair, that's a really fun time as well. So check those things out.
Get a Twins game.
Yeah, Twins games are good. So you have that.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Like and don't like instead. Just doesn't have the same.
Doesn't have the same. People don't like. Oh, it's the things I love and are mildly annoyed by. Slight irritations when you're there. So we have some other stuff coming. Lindsay. Yes, we'll see how it goes. It's my mom and I going to the Fringe Festival, so should be fun.
Biggest. What? You and your mom are going to Fringe Festival?
Well, we're going to be there when it's there, so if we have to go.
Dude, you should totally take your mom. Somebody asked what biggest packing mistakes are for first-time travelers. Y'all pack too much.
You don't need a suitcase this big. Carry-on size. They have laundry all around the world.
So not only that, like getting on planes, trains, buses, etc., where space is sort of limited, it's really nice to just have one small thing, and it's not hard to do. Like I always say, for Mark and the kids, 5 tops, 5 bottoms, 5 socks, 5 underwear, that's all you need. For me, it's a little different. I do like five tops, a couple of like light little scarves that are colorful or something, dresses, and like 2 bottoms, maybe 3 that can match everything. And I can make if everything sort of matches everything else, you can make a lot of outfits out of that little bit, and limit yourself to the pair of shoes that you wear on your feet and 1 other pair. Maybe a 3rd pair if they're flip-flops or something really, really flat that packs light.
So, yeah, exactly. Okay, so here's some other questions. Let's see. Ben Den, do you have Patreon? Yes, we do have Patreon. You just go to patreon.com/WoltersWorld to find out how you can support us. So we do have that. Let's see. To do other ones.
Budapest in March or New Year's.
So I would go March, because New Year's, unless you're there to go party and be crazy, it's going to be overrun, because that's a very big party city in the first place. So, I mean, if you want to go for that, it'd be a blast. But if you're going for more tourism stuff, I would recommend March over New Year's. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to be there in August in Edinburgh. Poland. We'll be in Poland again next year or the year after. I'm not sure yet. We're still working on that one. Sandusky, Ohio. Ryan Johnson. You know what? Fun fact about me. I used to spend all my summers in Sandusky going to Cedar Point. That's where I used to go. So we had good times there. Hey, Ryan from Youngstown, Ohio.
Somebody's going to Paris in August, and they want to know if taking the Seine boat trip is worth it. You know what? I kind of like it. It's terribly touristy, right? But you know what? You get to see a lot, and it's kind of a nice thing to do, like to get a good overall of the city, and then you can it helps you prioritize the things that you've seen.
Yeah. So next up, Michael Mann. Thank you very much for the super chat, my friend. Paris Metro. Any thoughts on the tourist Navigo Pass versus the Carnet tickets? It really depends how much you're going to be traveling around. I usually just get the Carnet tickets, like the little ones, and do that, because we're not taking the subway all the time, the metro all the time. We're like walking a lot, or maybe we'll do something else. So that would be one thing to look at. If you're going to be doing a lot, like a short period of time, maybe like you're only there for a weekend and you're going for, I think, 7 days.
For a while, though.
Yeah, I might just get the Navigo just so you don't have to buy tickets all the time. That might make it easier for you. But when we go, we usually just buy the one as you go, because it's like €1.90 for one way, so it's not too expensive that way.
Honestly, with the kids, sometimes if we're gonna have to make like 4 switches, and sometimes you do with the kids, it gets a little bit hairy. Just especially if you're going at a busy time. So on those, sometimes I just I take the other way and go with an Uber or a taxi.
Depends, yeah.
I know it's sort of cheating, right?
Yeah, it's cheating. And I will tell you, for €1.90 is the metro ticket anywhere you want to go, versus the Ubers, which can be quite pricey, and the taxis and stuff like that. So there's that. So Dad is fat. No, he's not.
No, he's fat. Like, cool.
I know. I'm joking. So Mexico City and San Miguel de Allende. Any highlights or recommendations? We have not been, so I have no personal knowledge of those places, so I wouldn't feel comfortable giving you recommendations on places I haven't personally been, so I feel really bad about that. But Mexico City is one of the places we're looking at to go this February, so we'll have a long weekend with the kids there. So if you ask this next July, I'll have plenty of stuff for you. But sadly, I do not now, so I do apologize. Sorry about that.
What's the best place for Oktoberfest stateside? I would say Chicago has a really good Oktoberfest. Because there's a huge German group. And you have any input on Oktoberfest in the States?
If you any place has okay, so you're looking at Milwaukee. Minneapolis,
Milwaukee,
Chicago, and in Texas actually has some good ones too.
Ooh, yeah.
Wherever you have a lot of German immigration ancestry and stuff like that, that's where you have some. I mean, even like my hometown does its own little tiny Oktoberfest for a day, so at least something there, so you can have that. And then the thing is, Oktoberfest can bring money in, and so now a lot of cities will have some kind of thing like that, because it's for the craft beer industry. We're gonna do our own Oktoberfest, so. You can find some there, but like bigger Midwestern cities, that's where you got a lot of German immigration. That's where you're going to have some good stuff. Amy Mosen, thank you very much for the super chat. We really appreciate it. Binge watching since recently discovering you. Thank you very much. Hopefully we're not giving you nightmares. My 18 and 14-year-old daughters and I are traveling to Paris and Barcelona July 17th through August 1st. Cool. That's a good one.
Awesome
and that is a great trip for mother and daughters. That's a really good trip.
Really fun.
Mm-hmm. For first trip and kind of worried about the crowds. Can we still have a good time?
Yeah.
Yes, you can. So you're going to be going, that's peak season right there. So what I'd say is...
And it's hot.
And it's hot. So what I would say is if there's any times you can pre-book a ticket for anything you want to see, then it has like a time so you know when you can just go in. That will make your life a little easier. Sometimes it'll help you skip the line. But at those times, it's going to be busy pretty much anywhere you go. So be ready for that. Make sure, we have all kinds of tips on, not keeping your stuff from getting pickpocketed and stuff like that. If you're binge watching the videos, I'm sure those will come up and they'll give you some hints. And you'll be surprised just asking locals stuff, how helpful they can be with it if you have any questions. So.
You know what? Prioritize, make a list of all the things that the three of you want to see and kick things out. That maybe just one of you wants to see and you're not really adamant about it or whatever. Do that before you go so that you have, you're not overwhelming yourself, because personally, Paris for me is a place to sit down and just soak it up. Yes, you have to go to the Louvre and you have to go to the Eiffel Tower and you have to see Arc de Triomphe and Sacré-Cœur. But when you're at those things, take some time to just sit down and be Parisian about it and enjoy the atmosphere.
Yeah, we started a new series called Mistakes Tourists Make, and I think that was one of the mistakes I have on there was people when they go to Paris.
They're rushing.
They're rushing to see everything because that fear of missing out really gets them, and so they're seeing the city through their phone, taking pictures, and they're not stopping and let's take this in. Let's enjoy this.
It.
Yeah, we saw this one lady. She was at the Eiffel Tower at the park, just kick back, relax, reading a book. We're like, that's right, she's got it down. But then we saw 50 people doing the Instagram poses. There's one couple that literally they were just sitting
making out. I mean,
no, frozen.
Hang on. They threw a blanket down, they sat down and wrapped themselves up, and they're and they're just sitting there.
And so I was filming part of
And then they took their stuff and they ran away. And I was like, it's the Eiffel Tower, yo. Sit down, have a bottle of wine,
and there's another one.
It.
There's another one who is an Instagrammer I've seen before, and she's got her blanket down with her picnic in front of the Eiffel Tower, and she's got her baguette and all this stuff, and she's just and she's got her camera person taking the pictures, and she's like, oh no, I do this all myself, whoa, and so then the snap, and then
she left.
Didn't eat the baguette, nothing like that. It's just got rid of it.
Oh my gosh, we are all about enjoying it. So, sister, take your kids and enjoy every minute of it.
Yeah. So, Becky Doherty, thank you very much for the super chat. You inspired us to travel to Europe with our 2 children for 17 days this September. Any tips for kids? Making the trip good for them, not just us adults. So, you want to start? You want me to start?
So, we like to give our kids a little help they get to help us in the planning process. So, I don't know how old your kids are, but if they can read or look anything up, get some books called Europe. Oh my gosh, what is it? It's
is there one over there somewhere?
It's something for kids, not adults. And Lonely Planet makes 2 different versions of it. Anyway, I've given you enough information that you can look these books up. They're great. The kids get to find things. Kind of gives them an idea of what to do and what to see. So if you give them some in on that, and let them help, they get really excited about it. I'm sorry, I like to have my
She has both the chairs. Woman, I've got the big butt.
Anyway, our kids also like to watch shows. We show them things before we go.
Yeah, and that really worked when they were little, especially with Caleb. He saw the Looney Tunes when they're at the Coliseum, and then we went to Rome. He's like, "Oh my gosh, I saw that in my cartoon."
On Bugs Bunny.
Really on Bugs Bunny, and that really inspired him a lot. So that would be something, because if you get them integrated, because if you do it all and they're not a part of it, then it's they get upset. But if it's something that they have like a little bit of ownership to, like you choose one of the things we got to see. And the thing is, you can just say, hey, look, there's 3 places we could go. We could go to Paris, we could go to London, or we could go to Rome. Now, and you've already decided that you're going to go to one of those places. Like you're already cool with that. Then you let them. You don't just say, oh, where should we go this year? And then the kids are like, Australia, Jamaica. I'm like, yeah, I was looking for someplace cheaper, like St. Louis or Chicago. Maybe you give them a choice, like, hey, there's 3 places. Let us know which one you want to see, and that gets them much more bought into it and much more excited for it.
Hang on.
Sorry.
Go so fast. What?
Well, there's like 4,000 have gone by.
I know, but
She's scrolling back up.
I am. Of the national parks you've been to in Europe, South America, and or Japan, are there any you would recommend based on scenery, safety, and well-marked trails?
Well, I don't know if it was safety, but the Serengeti was pretty awesome. The fact that we had a cheetah outside our tent and lions there and hippos.
Oh my gosh, a hippo,
sleep.
like 20 meters from our tent, just...
Yeah, even the guys that ran our camp were like, yeah, we had a busy night. Like you could tell they were a little worried too. And I'm like, oh, that's always a good
wild. Thing. But the other one is Ngorongoro Crater, which
cool. That's also in Tanzania.
Really safe and easygoing. But for hiking South America, I mean, I don't even know that I know the names of the places we've been, but
yeah,
some really incredible hiking up in the cloud forest in Ecuador was probably my favorite hiking other than Iceland. Cool. Those are my 2 favorite places for hiking.
Yes. Oh, hey, there's another book that actually, if you go to woltersworld.com/shop, it's called Atlas Obscura.
Thanks, Olga, for mentioning that.
Yeah. That's actually, we have some links to some books for kids to help out there, so there are those things there. Scott Neal, Spandau in Berlin, worth an afternoon visit. Not really. Go to Wannsee instead, or go to Potsdam. Spandau's, I mean, at least the years I lived there, every time I went through, I'm like, okay, I'm glad I never got off the train. So, Stephen, yes, we're planning to go to South Korea in the future. I don't know if we'll go. We won't go to North Korea, but maybe we'll go to the demilitarized zone to see that. Afik, Afik, we're coming later this year to Israel.
Ryan Johnson is 2 days in Prague, 2 in Amsterdam, and 2 in Berlin. Enough to see each city. Going there in June, we only have 6 days. No, because you've got to travel between those, and you've already booked your 6 days. And you've got a day between all. The train's about 6
hours from Berlin to Prague. But I mean, if that's the only time you have in those 3 cities you want, you can see enough in those 6 days with 2 days each.
But you're probably gonna have shin splints from running.
Yeah, from running. So have a heads up. It's gonna be tough,
but
it's doable. It's doable.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yes, Scott Neal. Yes, get the BVG app for Germany. Actually, for Berlin.
Yep.
That'll help you out and get your tickets and stuff like that. Henry Martinez. Thank you. Trying to make it so we can go full time on YouTube. I appreciate all the super chats, buddy. Mark and Jocelyn, what's the number 1 place you guys truly love, but everyone dislikes? As always, thank you so much for doing these live streams. You're welcome, buddy. So I would think probably Venice and Paris, we have the most number of people that love or hate it. There's no in between. They either love it or hate it. Because Venice, there's too many tourists. In Paris, it's so dirty and stuff like that. But I don't find Paris dirty anymore. And Venice, Paris. I mean, yes, it is overrun with tourists, but it's still fantastic to see. And since a lot of those tourists are on the cruises coming in, they're gone in the evening. And a lot of people aren't staying on the island anymore. They're staying in the cheaper places out of town. They're doing that. So
what's the number 1 place you truly love but everyone dislikes? How about this? I don't know that people dislike it, but one of the places I love a lot, I'm going to name 2. One is Vicenza, Italy. I don't know that people dislike it. They've just never been there. They never heard of it, and I absolutely love it because the architecture. Also, we have a lot of friends there, so that does it. But Crete. Everyone goes to the Greek islands and they always skip Crete, or they might spend a day in Hania on a cruise or something. But I think Crete is great. There's a lot of natural beauty. There's a great gorge to hike. The people are outrageous awesome. So those would be my places that other people don't do.
Yeah.
Josh Milo, you missed my super chat.
Uh-oh. Yeah, Josh, I'm sorry I missed it. Like, because the things are going by quick. I'm sorry if I missed it. Send me your question again real quick. Because I have one that was a message retracted, so that might be yours there. Because sometimes if people write something like not nice, or YouTube thinks it's not nice in the super chats and stuff, they won't post it there. So because there is one, there's 2 actually that other. Okay, yours, that wasn't you, Josh. There was another one. There's 2 other ones that got that.
Rejected.
Okay, so Josh, we found you, buddy. Thank you for the super chat. Love your energy. Have you been to Georgia and Europe? No, we have not been there yet, but it's one of the things
we've been talking about that area,
Central Asia and stuff like that. So, in the stands and stuff like that for future things.
Malt Chronicles had asked a question that I'm sorry, it flew by. I missed it. I apologize. It
wasn't that one. Well, 260 people in and only 93 thumbs up. Shows the Wolters some love. Thanks, Malt Chronicles. I feel really bad we couldn't meet up when we were in Amsterdam, buddy. You know we love you, man.
I know, that would have been
If you want to see some fun Instagram, go to Malt Chronicles on Instagram. He's a good guy, and you learn a lot about some good, tasty stuff there. So we love Crete. Going there in October, West Coast down to the south. Good call, Malt Chronicles. Good call, my friend. Next up, Chris Dufala. Thank you very much for the super chat. This is my first live stream. Well, welcome to the live stream. I traversed both islands through New Zealand. Oh, dude, I'm so jealous. It was number one on my list for geographic beauty. Iceland is number 2 and Norway number 3. You know what? For geographic beauty, I'm right there with you. Those places are all fantastic. I've been to Iceland. I've been to Norway. And really, those are like just gorgeous. Like the whole countries are gorgeous.
Like everywhere
kind of
you turn around, it's picture perfect, and you're like, you can't stop taking pictures. And thank God we don't have film anymore.
Yeah, because there's no editing enough.
Yeah, it would be so expensive.
And I think some other good places, because sometimes it's not a whole country like those are. Sometimes it's just regions. Like for me, the Amalfi Coast is just gorgeous. That little part of Italy is just so gorgeous to see, and like the nature kind of stuff is really nice there. When we were going through the mountains in Rwanda, you're just like, I'm like, I gotta stop taking pictures because all I'm getting is like blurry trees, but without, because Rwanda is known as the hill or the country of 1,000 hills, and you see all that, so it's really another gorgeous spot. Yeah. Also, there's a lot of places in the U.S. and Canada. I mean, there's a lot of places all over, like Costa Rica, just going around, like the natural beauty there is just
beaches.
Oh, Chris, you've opened up a can of worms trying to figure out these ones.
Amber, landing in London at 1 a.m. Monday morning. Can you advise what advice can you share for an ungodly hour? Well, getting into town from, I'm assuming you're going to go into Heathrow, right?
No, I would say Stansted maybe.
Oh, I don't know.
1 a.m. One thing is there's buses that go even through the night, and a lot of these ones that could take you in, but it might be better if you're getting at 1 a.m. Some of the airports you can kind of like stay at the airport for a little while and then go in the morning and do that. I've slept in Milan outside a few times because I got in at like a 1 a.m., 2 a.m. flight and it was delayed. So
I would tell you to book for the night before so that you can get straight into your hotel, even if it's at 2 a.m. and go to bed. So it adds some expense, but I mean, at that time, I think that it's worth your sleep.
Yeah, and that's one of the things is if you're going to get in late nights, sometimes it's worth it to pay an extra day at the hotel to get it a day early, but let them know that, look, I'm getting like at 2 a.m. Can I have it then? And we've done that for Airbnbs before too, because like we flew back from Tanzania, we got into Amsterdam at 7 in the morning. And I'm like, I'm not waiting until 3 to check in. So we actually got an extra day on there. So there is that. Hey, Lindsay, Yale Entertainment. I actually stayed in Albano Terme as well with my parents years ago. It is a nice little town to stay outside of Venice. You're right. The great Sammy, when is Mark going to shave his beard? I usually shave it once every summer. So
yeah, but then it's all like he's red or tan up here. Tan. And then he's all white and it looks funny.
Michael Mann. Thanks, buddy, for the super chat. Question for Jocelyn. Okay.
As preservationist, what is your favorite European city for architecture? First comes to mind is Vicenza, and that's because I love Andrea Palladio. He is my 500-year-old dead boyfriend.
She made me take a picture with him so she could have both her boys together.
I love Vicenza, and there's so many little hidden gems around there. So that's one. Paris and is great because everywhere you go, it's really cool and it's really well planned city. I love the planning that happened there. I think it was really neat. I don't know. So European cities, Paris, Vicenza, Greece.
I like Prague. It's got some amazing stuff there.
Yeah, you're a big fan of Prague, and they have done a good job of keeping it. So there you go.
Cool. So Peter James Stewart, I'm glad we could help you on your Venice trip. That's really nice to hear. Thanks, buddy. Let's see. Olga Chesky Krumlov. I want to get there. It's probably one of the prettiest towns I haven't got to that I really want to get to. Jocelyn did get a haircut, Perry. If we could choose to live anywhere, where would you choose? You get one answer. So Ted Levanway, we are going to Prague, Salzburg, and Munich. We only have 11 days. How would you break it up? I would do four, three, two. I would do 4 Prague, 3 Munich, 2 Salzburg. Hi Gamer Bear in London. Hi MG from Mark and Jocelyn. Becky, merchandise we'll have on sale. We'll put a video out about it later this month when we get our new stuff.
Afik, if you could choose only one destination, London or Paris. Paris.
So, let's see. Rose Renault, American, some of my favorite cities in the U.S. New York, Chicago, New Orleans, Santa Barbara, California. Yeah, New York, Chicago, New Orleans. We like Savannah, Georgia. Is another really great place to visit.
A great city.
Stuff like that. There's a lot of
I like
nice
Charleston.
towns.
I'm a big fan of old southern cities. They're just lovely and they have a nice feel about them.
So, Henry Martinez, thanks, buddy. Would you ever do a round the world cruise? I think so, but I think Jocelyn gets cruise sick. So
I get seasick on big ships, not small ones, so I don't know, it might be kind of tough for me. I'd have to live on some Dramamine.
Yeah. So Alessandro, grazie for the super chat. You should visit Recco in Italy. Cheers from Milan. Well, we'll be back in Italy next year, so I'll check into it. Thanks. Thank you very much. The Brandon Bandit, thank you very much for the super chat. That's a great name, by the way. Thank you.
Somebody asked...
Oh, wait, no, Brandon had a question.
Oh.
Terve. Oh, Finland. I will take an impromptu 3-night trip before returning to the U.S. from Finland during this coming week. What city is good for a student? Stockholm, Copenhagen, Oslo. I would do Stockholm because you can do the ferry over, which is always fun. Yeah. That would be my recommendation, buddy. They're jumping around again. Sorry, guys.
It is flying
Chris
fast.
Dufala, thank you very much for the super chat. Do you have any experience in the Patagonia region in South America and get to Antarctica? That's where I'm heading November, December this year. First off, that's awesome, and we are going to be doing a Antarctica thing when Liam's a little bit older because at 8 years old, I don't know if we're going to take him down to Antarctica yet, but that is a really cool one to do, well worth doing. If you're going to go down there, if you do like the Chilean side, a lot of times you're going back and forth across the border, so have a lot of pages in your passport if you're busing down. But if you're flying down to Tierra del Fuego, get ready for a little bit of a bumpy ride because it can be a little bumpy in the flight going down there. But that's one of those nature beauty things. The guy, earlier they talked about New Zealand and stuff like that. And Tierra del Fuego and down there, dude, it is unbelievably cool. Also remember, check to make sure because there's no guarantee you actually get to go if you're doing the cruises to Antarctica.
And you may not get your money back.
Yeah.
So read. There you go.
Yeah, so be careful with that. Josh Milo back. Thank you very much. Tasmania is the most beautiful Aussie state. That's one place. I was a study abroad student in Australia back in high school, and I remember Tasmania really like I'm like, I want to go see that place. And all my buddies, I was in high school at the time, so everyone had a bunch of like Tasmania jokes about the people there. So I was like, I kind of want to go to see what it's like there. Henry Martinez, thank you very much, buddy. Which culture surprised you the most, or wasn't what you were expecting? I think the amazing, wonderful, nice people of Rwanda probably surprised me the most. Like how just incredible they were.
I knew that it was going to be good, but I couldn't have imagined that it was going to be as good as it was. I mean, they took my expectations and blew them out of the water.
Yeah. So Night Elf has asked us a few times, going to be in LA for a 3-week trip. Is there any place to get to without renting a car? Well, the thing is, there's some trains and there's buses, like nice buses to go between places too, like overnight buses. You can go up to San Francisco, but I like San Diego a lot. Like I would go down to San Diego for a few nights and do that because it's a really cool city to check that out. So that's one thing I would say.
Would you travel the Trans-Siberian Railroad?
Yeah, we were looking at that last year. We were looking into that.
And we almost did it. What was it? There was something about the dates and ending in China. We wanted to start in China and we couldn't, and whatever. It was a little bit difficult and it didn't mesh in with what we wanted.
We've had friends who've done it and they've loved it. That's why we started to get into that. Let's see.
Can you be a vegetarian in Vienna?
In Vienna, you can definitely be a vegetarian. No problem. And in Germany as well. Anywhere in Germany, Austria, even though like historically speaking, they're more pork based, but the thing is they have a lot of options there and you'll be surprised how well you can eat as a vegetarian.
Somebody asked best cities for older kids in the US. So
New York, Chicago. You're going for the bigger city stuff because then there's going to be shopping that they'll want to go check out. There'll be cooler like there's like the escape rooms and stuff like that they can go to.
And theater and music and all those kinds of things. But I also like to think about other smaller, like Austin's a great place, but like some quirky places like Savannah is a good place.
Yeah. There's a big art scene usually fun, like Asheville, North Carolina could be interesting. Portland, Oregon, Seattle, those can be pretty fun.
I find that artsy towns are really great for
because they'll have
kids.
Yeah,
because they're more open with other stuff to do.
Yeah, and it seems like there's a lot, and then they have a lot more like small things you could do with kids. It seems like there's a lot more. There's some more entrepreneurial stuff. They're like, oh, it's not just a bounce house, but you're like, yeah, it's time to go bigger. They're older. They want something more. Yeah.
Can you talk about scams and getting robbed in Marrakesh and how to avoid it next time? I was cornered when someone forced to give directions to me, even though we never asked.
Yeah. Okay. So when you're in Morocco,
scary,
you have
right?
a lot of people that are like, oh, you want to come inside to have a drink? Oh, are you lost? Let me help you. This happens a lot, especially in the markets. That is a very common scam. We've had people do that to us in Marrakesh. I'm like, we're fine. Like, no, you need. I'm like, we're fine. And I'm a bigger guy, so I said, we're fine.
You have to intimidate back.
Yeah. And the thing is, you get kind of, and that's not just there. That's a lot of places you'll get the people. And like in Chicago, the guy's like, give me $1, give me $1. That's not enough. You're like, give me more. And you're like, no. And you just walk off. So.
And you have to be physically able to just not shove people, but move and
don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to yell for help. And don't be afraid to yell for help.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds, but you know what? They'll be embarrassed out of the thing. Like, oh, hell, yeah. It's one of those things. I mean, a lot of people they're embarrassed to do stuff, but sometimes that's what you got to do. So, Alessandro, my friend, what do you think of the Titanic 2 sailing in 2022? I will not be on the first journey. That's what I think about that. Maybe the second one. Who knows? So there's those things. Let's see.
Food in France that surprised you that you actually like. I don't think there's anything I've eaten in France that I don't like except that one weird sausage that you got one time. And
the
I thought it
Louise
tasted
sausage.
Like poo.
Yeah, it's tripe sausage. So yeah, that was
gross.
Yeah, it looked fantastic. Like that would be one of those Instagrammers, influencers would love. Like, oh, this is perfect for my picture. They never eat it, and they wouldn't realize how horrible it is. We ate it, and we realized how horrible it was. So that was.
I didn't think it looked amazing, but that's just.
Hey Perry, you're very welcome for all the tests. Really appreciate it. Gene, we're looking to go to India. I think 2020, 2021, like that. Switching the year. That's our overall thoughts going to India for that.
Stop moving.
I'm not moving.
I'm not saying it to you, but
yelling at the computer
losing it. I think I'm going blind. It's flying by so fast.
Yeah, I can tell Google does not adjust for older people because they don't let us. Do you see how small this is
Who's
over
older?
Here? I'm older than you, so there's that. They don't. You can't adjust the size of the font here, and I'm like, you could just be like a 14 font. That'd be great.
And the smaller computer thing.
Yeah.
The screen is not very big. Do you know anything about day trip driver service? Do you recommend it? So we've never used that, but we used. Oh God, now it's out of my head.
I didn't know what you're talking about.
What was the pickup service we used in Italy that Elena recommended, and it was really great. We used them in Slovenia.
Don't you have the app? Taxify? No. Oh.
That's not what it is. I don't know.
She'll look for it. I'll answer some other questions.
It was really, really good.
Mo Chronicles, my curly-haired friend. Mark and Jocelyn, if you read this later, have a look at Simon Wilson's YouTube. Young guy, really fresh and funny travel videos. I'll check him out. Thanks, Mall Chronicles. Let's see. Now.
Something go-go.
Anyway. In terms of drivers for a day, sometimes it's just easier that way. What we've done actually in some places, we actually liked a taxi driver. We actually asked them, hey, could you be our driver for a day? We've done that in Morocco. We've done that in Brazil, Argentina, and it worked out really well. So if you have a taxi driver you really enjoy, like, hey, dude, how much would it cost you just to drive us around for the day? Because they'll just take, you pay them cash and walk away, and everything's good that way. So there is that. Going places. Thanks for answering my question. I've been considering going to Chicago, Seattle, Austin, Portland, and Savannah, but Asheville's a little hidden, so I just found out about it. Yeah, Asheville's got a good beer scene. You're also right by the Smoky Mountains. The Blue Ridge Mountains aren't too far from there. You got some really cool stuff, so that's really worth checking out. Chris, Dufala is back. Do you have a favorite place in the world that you have found or a destination that's the top of your list? I wouldn't say there's one, but there's some places I really enjoy. I always go back to. Like, there's the big ones like the Paris and Rome, but then there's medium-sized towns like Bamberg in Germany and Innsbruck in Austria I love going to. Kyoto in Japan was fantastic. I really like Mendoza in Argentina. And if you go to Ouro Preto in Brazil, it's really cool. So there's some nice smaller places and medium-sized places I really like going back to. And someone earlier had asked, how often we go back to cities? Well, we actually go back to a lot of the cities again because we have friends there. We really enjoyed it. Because it's just one of those things. I go back to Portugal a lot because our son was born there. I did my PhD there. I love going there. And I know there's a lot of travel vloggers that will just go to new places all the time. So I can see every country in 3 years. And the thing is, yeah, they're making good tours, but they're not learning about the culture as much. And we like to go back and learn about the culture and the people, and we make friends. And so why not go back to some place you enjoy? We still want to go to new places, but We have to balance both.
Don't move it, because there's two questions I want to answer.
Okay.
But the driver question that somebody asked for a pickup service, the one that we used and it worked out really well was Go Opti. You book it and they ask you how many bags you have, and they put it all ahead of time. The cool thing was that we needed to get to the airport, and so automatically when I booked from our apartment to the airport, they wouldn't let me book where I thought I needed to. They actually made me do it half an hour in advance to make sure that we were there because of traffic and stuff like that. And they have a thing where they give you money back for something if you miss your flight. You have to read the fine print on it, and I don't know how it all works, but it was a really cool service, and I was really happy with that. Michael, thank you for the blessings. We could use them. Josiah, I'm going to Portugal in September. Do you think I should get euros in America before I go, or wait until I get there? So it's not a bad idea to have some on hand for like your taxi, or to go and get, your metro tickets, because there's a metro station now at the airport in Lisbon, if that's where you're flying into. So it's kind of nice to have, 50 euros or something when you start. But what we always recommend is that you go to an ATM there and get euros out with your debit card, because you'll get the best transaction fees. And, like the best, my brain is not working this morning. I think I've had too much coffee. You'll have the best exchange rate. And then, if you can do it where you don't have transaction fees, if your bank will waive those, that's a really great thing. Trini, did you do a lot of solo traveling before getting married? So, not necessarily solo traveling.
I don't remember anything before I married her.
You are so full of crap.
Not anymore.
So anyway, oh Lord, you're so gross. Go away. So I don't know that it was solo traveling. I went with my girlfriends or with my sisters or whatever. I did go occasionally on my own. Okay, so best age and locations for first trip abroad with a child. So the earlier, in my opinion, the better, because they get used to traveling all the time. Locations, southern, if you want to go, like, I don't know where you're from. I'm going to assume that you're American. And Southern Europe is really great. Italy, Portugal, Spain, they love kids. And so they make it easy. Like, people just carry your kid around while you're eating dinner and things.
Yeah.
So,
but then if you go to like Northern Europe, it's not that. It's more like you're bothering them when you have your kids with you in some places. So we really recommend Southern, like Portugal, Spain, Italy, Greece with kids is great. Another nice place. Costa Rica is pretty cool with kids. It's pretty safe and stuff like that. The thing is, if you're going to any place that is like kid friendly, I mean, I don't know, with little ones, as long as you're traveling with them, it's really good. Even if it's just going to grandma and grandpa's, getting them used to those kind of things.
How to be patient, how to ride in a car or anything else for a while. That's really good. Jessica White, trying to fly standby in February to Athens for my honeymoon and Santorini. Do you think you will have trouble? Here's the deal with that. You'll get a flight eventually, but you don't know when you'll get the flight. So the problem is booking that first day or first 2 days or even 3 days. I mean, do you want to start your married life sleeping in an airport? Personally, I wouldn't do it. And I know that flying to Athens is expensive. So if that's an issue, what you might want to do is look at finding a cheaper flight to, say, Paris or London, and then booking a second flight, even with EasyJet or Aegean Air or something from that place to Athens. That may cut your expense on the flight a lot more. It might be kind of a pain, but when you'll get there, so you'll be able to book. And also Santorini, it was February, right? Santorini in February, I've been there. There's nobody there. There ain't nobody there. It's all you, and there will be a lot of places not open. Yeah, like restaurants. So we had to go to the backside of the island to find food some nights, because that was the only place that was open where the locals ate. So do have a heads up for that, because the EasyJets and all those cheap flights, they don't exist anymore. However, having Santorini to yourself when you're first married is a pretty romantic thing. True. Mm-hmm. Very true. See, so you'll be fine. Let's see. Hi, Nico in Germany. Good to see you, buddy. Have you been to North Carolina?
Yes, we put out many times. We have a Outer Banks video. We have an Eat North Carolina video to help you out because someone was asking about what to eat in North Carolina. There's some good stuff.
One of my BFFs, Sarah Bell, she lives in
Auntie Princess Sarah.
Get her
name
Sarah
right.
Bell.
Thank you.
She lives in the Triangle, and so I've been there a lot.
Yeah, we actually have a Raleigh video from years ago because we used to go there so much to visit her. I filmed out there. I haven't filmed new stuff there in years, but I need to go back and get some stuff there.
That's because we did it all.
So somebody just wrote and said they're in Mendoza. Bravo 97. I'm in Mendoza right now. You lucky one. And yes, I bet you're a little chilly right now. Could you have some red wine for me, please?
Yeah, right.
Because that's where I fell in love with wine was Mendoza.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff.
Good stuff. Oh, Malt Chronicles, couple goals, buddy.
Oh, thanks, sugar.
Heidi C. Innsbruck is amazing. Friendliest people I've met so far. We've really enjoyed Innsbruck. It's really not... Actually, I really like Innsbruck for their Christmas markets because so many people go to Salzburg and Vienna and Munich.
Innsbruck is a little more intimate.
It's more intimate. It's almost forgotten. And you have... that's where we've actually met more Austrians when I've been there. I mean, I speak German, so it gives me a way to talk to them, but that's where I've really met the most Austrians. I were talking. I'll be with my parents and we're chatting like, oh, what are you doing in Innsbruck? I'm like... It's beautiful and it's a Christmas market. It's like, oh, I guess you're right. But it was
they
really nice.
are a little more open than Austrians throughout the rest of the country for whatever reason. They're just a little more outgoing there.
Petero, yes, cheap beer in Poland is amazing. You're right.
I'm sorry, I was starting to say shut up to Darian for his Go Gators.
Yeah.
So right now it's July, and come next month we're gonna be fighting, buddy.
So, all the people that are commenting on Jocelyn's hair, thank you very much. I think it looks very nice as well.
Thanks, kids. You know what's awesome? I don't have to do my hair so much now. And it takes like 2 minutes to dry. Awesome.
Bye, Michael Kalinin. Thank you for watching. You're very welcome, Jessica White. I'm glad we could answer some of your questions. Oh, Dave, going to Tokyo for the 2020 Olympics, and it'll be my first visit. Do you think it's best to get a JR pass? Yes. Well, if you're going to leave, if you're only staying in Tokyo, then no. But if you're going to be leaving Tokyo, yes, the JR pass. You have to get it before you go. Really, it'll save you some money. Do a couple trips out, it'll pay for itself. So don't worry about that. Let's see.
Hey.
Oh. Richard Sire.
Oh.
Richard Sir, thank you very much for the super chat. Hello, keep your videos going. When you go to cut a Canadian winter in half, I'm from Quebec, with nice weather, but not in a touristy resort. Okay, so,
Okay.
Like in Canada or leaving Canada?
No, leaving. I'm thinking he wants to cut it in half, leave.
Oh, okay. I would, honestly, for our winter months, we like to hit Central America and the Caribbean.
And even South America.
Yeah.
Peru, Ecuador. Ecuador is really cool.
Yeah, because you can get...
It's not super warm. But maybe then when you go home to your bitter cold, it won't seem as bitter.
Don't worry. We have similar bitter colds here.
we understand. We're on that.
But no, I think good winter breaks, because what you want in a winter break, especially if you're like, because we leave Illinois where we're at, and it'll be bitterly cold, and we're like we always do a trip in early February, and it's like and we do one in March, but like when it's really cold, it's like that February one. We're like, I'm so tired of being cold.
When it's like negative 30 Fahrenheit.
Yeah,
oh Lord.
Yeah, with the wind. And so it's like I want to go to a place that's warm, it's easy. And the people are nice and stuff like that. So, like, we had a good time at Nicaragua. We had a good time in Belize. Jamaica.
Jamaica was awesome. And here's the thing. Like, Jamaica, most people go there and do the touristy resort stuff. We went with my friend's company, Holiday Services Jamaica. And she set us up on this crazy cool tour. And we stayed in a resort, like, 2 nights, maybe 3, the first 2 or 3 nights, but then we were in an apartment,
which was way better because I can't do the all inclusives very long because
we kind of go nuts, both of us,
because a lot of people just stay on the resort. And I'm like, I want to go see the culture and get out, and so
we got to do a lot of really cool cultural stuff. Like Kingston was really awesome. The Bob Marley stuff, it was amazing. So
Chris, you walked from Oia to Feria in Santorini, dude. That is some good walking right there. You got some. You must have some strong thighs right now. Let's see. Oh, so barley stew. Do you ever visit international farmer markets when you go to get your favorite foods when you're back home and not traveling? Yeah, we'll do it. And where we live, it's a university town, so there's a lot of international restaurants and international food you can get. And so we'll hit some of our international.
But I think they're okay. The way I'm reading that is international farmer markets Oh, when you're back home. I was thinking
because we definitely go to the
out.
markets when we travel. That's one of our
all the
highlights,
time.
doing those things.
Yeah, I think that for me, like grocery stores and markets and things are so universal, but they're all very different. So for me, it's always a cultural experience to go and do those things.
Hey, Daniel Wee, who's in Italy right now, my Australian buddy from Perth. I'm glad our videos could help you out, man. Thank you very much. I'm just glad to have it. Let's see.
Asheville videos.
I need to make some.
We've been there
a few times.
Yeah.
So let's see. Lee, what's a good gift an American can give to a Canadian staying with a friend in Montreal? If it's a friend, bring some whiskey. Alcohol is always a good thing.
Things like that.
Yeah, stuff like that. So that's always a nice one. And the thing is, if you're going to visit friends, sometimes what we'll do is just like buy a bag of groceries or something like that. Like, hey, I'll be staying with you. I brought some groceries, or I bought some groceries to bring, just to like say thanks and stuff like that. So there is that.
Jimmy UK, why do they call Naples in Florida the same as in Italy? Because usually when we have those things in the States, it's because people from that place settled really early. So
yeah, like we live by New Berlin, and there's Frankfurt, which was Frankfurt, and stuff like that. A lot of German people there. So Cal Diva for life, thank you very much for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Next up, Jocelyn.
You keep moving it.
Hold on.
Okay.
So, another super chat. Thank you, Chris, again. Financially, how do you finance your journeys? Is it through these chats? I usually pick 2 places per year and work the rest of the year. No, it's not from the chats and stuff like that. We finance it because
it's helpful. It's kind.
It's kind and it helps a lot. And the patrons on Patreon really do help a lot. But actually, I have a day job. I'm a professor, and that's where my money comes from. And so that's what pays for a lot of stuff. And then if you ever watch YouTube videos and you see those ads that run before it, like every ad, the person gets like 0.00001 cent. So if you get enough views, that can help pay for it. So like we don't make money off this, but it kind of breaks even with our travels. And what's really nice about it is we get to help other people travel better. So
yeah, well,
that's the real payment.
We also prioritize our money. Like we don't have cable. We haven't had cable in decades. 10 years, yeah. Except for when it came with our apartment in Lisbon, and that's because it came with our apartment.
Yeah, and like we only recently have 2 cars. Like we didn't have 2 cars for a long time. We only had one, and it was like I always joked, it was my favorite color, cheap. So we do those things, and we don't eat out. I know I'm a big chubby guy, but we don't eat out too much when we're home because we figure let's save the money for when we do travel. So we just like Jocelyn says, prioritize this stuff.
King North, tips on Amsterdam. Just arrived. Loved your videos. You know what? Here are my tips on Amsterdam. Go to the Rijks. Go to the Van Gogh Museum. And take
a canal tour.
But go to Utrecht. Go to Haarlem. Get out.
20 minutes each. 20 minutes from the main station. Yeah. Super easy to get to.
So
beautiful towns.
Utrecht is just. It's like. It's just as lovely as Amsterdam, but there's not piles and piles of people.
It's just Dutch people all over the place.
Yeah, and you kind of get a more real feel for the country and people rather than just being in Amsterdam.
Yeah,
so.
and Haarlem's also makes another great one. Leiden's another. These are all
Leiden's cool.
These are all places you can go to easy, like 25, 30 minutes max to get to from the central station in Amsterdam. So definitely do that. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, Jeff Solero, friend just returned from Jamaica, and we're constantly approached to buy marijuana. So when we were there, I got approached. No one asked her, but a bunch of people asked me. But I was like, nah, I'm good, man. I'm like, okay. And so it was pretty
as
straightforward.
As long as you're friendly about it, people, generally speaking, everything that we did in Jamaica, when you said no, people were like, respect, man.
Yeah. And the thing is,
no, thank you.
And you gotta be respectful for things. I think that's one of the things, because we saw, if you watch some of our Jamaica videos, we got more coming out. You'll see in the comments, people either loved Jamaica or they hated it. And I think a lot of it was because people were just like, I don't want this stuff, leave me alone. Or like, look, there's no social services here. Like, they have to make some money to survive. So they're trying to sell whatever, whether it's, like selling a book or selling a trinket or selling a t-shirt. But they're eating, they're selling to survive and to eat and stuff like this. And so people get really upset with them. But what we always did was like, hey, I really appreciate it, man, but we already got t-shirts. We don't need anything, but, I appreciate you asking. Have a good day, all the best. And
how many people were like high-fiving you?
High five that respect.
Respect,
too.
man.
Yeah, I mean, we would get respect like all the time because you just show people respect. It goes a long way. I don't know what Axe says, but San Diego, yes, San Diego's fantastic. Go to San Diego. It's wonderful.
Hey, so hang on. Simpo, where to next? That's the elephant in the room. I don't know, where are we going next?
I was supposed to go to LA on Monday, but I'm not going anymore.
Yeah, because I need my husband with me now and then.
That's right. So my next trip is going to Scotland with my mom.
And then we go, we don't have...
What's up, buddy?
Oh, we're going to Athens, Georgia for about a minute this fall for a Georgia Bulldogs game, Darian. And what else have we got? Oh, we're going to Israel.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
We got New Mexico.
New Mexico. Liam's saying Australia. We haven't booked that yet, but it's definitely we're looking at that. So, yeah. All right.
Okay, so Jay Corbo, I'm going to Camino de Santiago, starting in Porto.
Yeah.
So you're taking that way, okay. So in Porto, you want to have francesinha. That's a typical thing from there. It's like bread, meats, and eggs, and then they put cheese on top. And they pour this super salty but amazing sauce on it. That's really good. You're gonna
drink a lot of water with it.
Drink a lot of water with it. The port wine. You can go on the port wine cave tours. That really nice there. But remember, port wine in Portugal is an after dinner drink. You don't drink it like a normal thing. You drink the normal wine there. The wine in Portugal is good and it's cheap, so you'd be good.
Too old, power wheelchair bound, and doing Panama Canal cruise. Any tips? So we haven't done a Panama trip yet. We haven't been there, so I don't have any good ones. But there's usually some good groups for people who have mobility issues in different countries. So just like kind of Google that specifically for Panama, and hopefully, and then also talk to the boat people, to whatever ship you're going to be on. Talk to them ahead of time and see what they can do for you.
Yeah, because I will say that the cruise ships, like them or not like them, they're going to do whatever they can to help you out, and they'll give you as much information they can because they know that their competition is sharing all this information. So that's one of the things. Someone was asking, yes, San Diego, Chicago, Asheville, they're all good places to go. Asheville, there's a decent art scene. There's the Blue Ridge Mountains and the Biltmore is there. There's plenty of stuff to do when you are there.
There's a good amount of outdoor stuff. So yeah.
Oh, Paul Kruger, dude, this is awesome. Traveling out of country for the first time in November to run the marathon in Athens, going alone, but with a tour group. Any advice for a first-time traveler? Enjoy yourself. I would look up. Awesome. Well, we have some videos on Athens and stuff like that. I have some new ones coming out. But just look and see what you want to see. Because if you're in a tour group, they'll have stuff that you're going to do already planned out. So you're going to get some free time as well. So find some like 3 or 4 things you definitely want to see, just that might not be on the tour, so you can go see those. But also, it might be you want to spend more time at some of the stuff the tour visits, because sometimes tours will only give you an hour in the museum or something like that. Maybe you want 2 hours. So have some idea to like go through your itinerary for the tour and find some other stuff you want to do when you're there. And just know that you'll have a good time. And good luck in your marathon.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm not a runner, but if I ran a marathon, I'd want to do the marathon. So best airport food, a bit of a weird question, but out of interest, what's the best? Jack Daniels and ginger ale. I'm sorry, I don't like to fly a whole lot, so whenever I'm in an airport, there's a good chance that I'm having a Jack Daniels and ginger ale just to ease the flight.
That was funny.
I don't know. What is good airport? I like light food. I can't eat something heavy, so like a salad with a little bit of protein in it, eggs or chicken or something to kind of keep you from being hungry for a while. But like heavy food before I get on a flight is not good, but Jack Daniels is always good, so...
Yeah. Going places, I'm glad we can help out, have a good time. Ryan Johnson asked for the most visited cities in the U.S. New York, Chicago, New Orleans. I always tell people to go see the Grand Canyon. I would pick San Francisco up on there as well.
Really?
It's an interesting thing to go. But I like, in California, actually, San Diego is my favorite city.
I would go to San Diego.
San Diego's really cool.
And we're San Fran, so.
Jimmy UK, jet lag on. It's getting there. We slept till about 5:30 today, which was better. And
I am having
some coffee.
This is not just coffee; it's an Nescafe Frappe from Greece because that's
you're fancy.
Thing. And also in Greece, they say frappe today, sleep tomorrow. So maybe it'll power me through, and I can go to bed at 9 o'clock tonight instead of 8.
So Ben Dent, do you have any tips for traveling to the U.S. from the U.K. on a student budget? Flights around $300 or $375 return, but I'd like to go to big cities like Chicago. Okay, so even Chicago and New York do have hostels there. That's where you're going to have to save your money. Looking to go eat, you have plenty of, like New York, getting the slice of New York pizza or the dog, Chicago dog. Those are actually pretty cheap eats, especially compared to the UK. So you can actually find some cheap, like eating cheap in the US isn't hard.
Food is easier to do than in the UK.
Yeah, so there's that.
But you know what? Generally,
have your student ID. If you're a student, have your student ID so you can get if they have student price discounts.
The museums will have student prices. There will also be free days at museums. Now you have to look ahead and find out what those are. But it might be weekly or monthly. But see if you can't find those things. So.
Thank you, great Simon. Wolters is like a fluffy Indiana Jones. It's the nicest thing anyone's told me, which is funny because the person that commented next actually has Indiana 101 the Gamer underneath. That's funny. I really want to go to Walt Disney World. What is the general cost for a trip like that? $1,000 for a family.
How do I get discounts or the trip cheaper? So there are a lot of websites on doing that. And like one of our friends she's a Disney World ear certified person. I don't really know what all that means, but she knows these things. And I know there are ways to do it, but let's just say that the discounts are
few and far between.
Not massive. And like staying on property versus off property, you have to weigh the benefits of like the cost and getting in early and things like that. So Disney World isn't our favorite thing. We have a lot of friends who live by it and they love it, but it's just not quite our thing.
Yeah. Next up, he's writing in. Thank you for the super chat, my friend.
You.
What's the best food to try in Lisbon, Portugal? Okay, so my go-to is porco preto. That's right, black pork. It's Iberian pork. It's fantastic. That's really good. Also, there's a thing called a sorda, which is kind of like stuffing with egg in it and shrimp. I mean, it's a calorie bomb, but she doesn't like it, but I love it. That's really good. Bacalhau, codfish. There's a saying in Portugal, a good wife can cook bacalhau, codfish, 365 days a year, and her husband will be happy.
No, they have to be able to cook it differently every day of the year.
Yeah, but you'll have bacalhau bras is pretty good.
That's
bacalhau con natas, which is with cream. That's good.
Pastel de natas. You have to
pastries.
Get those. Yeah. And so they're in Belém, there's a place, and it's a special place to get them. I think maybe that's the big one. But they'll be called pastéis de Belém. They're the same as pastel de nata everywhere else, generally speaking. So that's your thing.
Yeah. So the Very Lazy Travelers. I love that name.
Fantastic.
Yes. My favorite beer is Schifferhofer. From Germany is one of my favorite beers to have. I think that's one I like to go have.
I don't drink beer. I have a sip of every one of his just to see if I kind of like it.
Just like she has a sip of my fries every time. Anyway.
Sip of your fries? That's not...
Next up. Oh, hey, look. Malt Chronicles. Are you guys watching the World Cup final later? Yes, we will be watching. It's 10 a.m. our time. We were watching the games throughout when we were traveling, and we actually... Almost like I think you were watching on that one. We were debating whether to go to the USA France quarterfinals, but it was like 800 euros a ticket. And I'm like, each. I'm like, nope, sorry.
That was a lot
of
money.
We just couldn't afford that. It was just too much. Like it was like even with two of us, that's a whole trip gone. So that's Lori Persified. Persifield. How about Kansas City? I've been in Kansas City. I actually filmed Kansas City videos recently. I got to get them out. Kansas City I was surprised how much I really enjoyed that city, but it's really spread out. So your Uber bill will be very high, but you'll enjoy your time in the city.
Have you ever sat next to fans on a flight? No, we haven't, but we do run into them.
Yeah, people come say hi. Yeah, no, I haven't said bye. Like I remember flying to Sweden once, and a guy kept saying, "Hey, you gotta make those videos." Like, yeah, and we were flying back from Paris. 3 days ago. There was an exchange student from Germany. He was an exchange student going to the U.S., but he already been. So he was going back to visit his family again. He's like, "You're that dude that makes videos." I'm like, "Yep, hi, Mark. Nice to meet you." So we do bump into fans occasionally. And it's really cool. So if you ever see us, come say hi.
Yeah.
So it's always really nice.
Cool. Actually, it was really funny. Where were we? In Belgium. Was it in Belgium? And it was funny. He was filming, and I'm sitting over there with the kids. They're playing soccer and whatnot. And I was like, hey, there's some people talking to Mark. So there's one set of fans, then another one, and then 3 families. Well, 2 were families, 1 was a couple. Mm-hmm. And it was like within 3 minutes, he kept having to stop the video. But it was like, it was cool. It was nice to see them, and you enjoyed it.
Yeah. So Brad Williams, thank you very much for the super chat. Your videos were helpful for our Ireland trip last April. We want to go back. Brad and Donna Whidbey, Island, Washington. Cool. Thanks, man.
Glad you had a good time.
We want to go back as well. So I think we're going to go October of next year. We're going to go back for a family road trip there because, people asked, again, going back to the one someone asked, do you ever go back to the same places? And Ireland's one of those places we can always go back to because we have such a nice time when we're there.
Ark House. Now it went by fast. Is there any country that you fancy in particular in Northern Europe?
Well, I really like Finland, but I lived there as an exchange student, and it's very much an outdoors
beautiful.
kind of stuff. Probably better, but I think as a tourist, probably the best of Northern Europe is probably Sweden to visit for stuff to see and do and stuff like that. But if you want to go like northern, like a cool trip, like seeing like does Estonia count as Northern Europe kind of a thing to see? That's really
Estonia is lovely.
Yeah, Tallinn's great.
And for me, it would be Iceland. I think that still counts as Northern Europe.
Yeah,
I mean, it's Europe, but it's kind of northwestern Europe. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah. So, silly taco dog. Could you do an episode on Mongolia? Yeah. Again, eventually we will get there because that's definitely on my list of places I'd actually want to go. Some other stuff. Simpo, yes, we are going to try to get down to see you in Australia, and we appreciate that your super chat from before in the last video, and getting some new gear. I actually had to get new gear. My camera actually broke on our trip, so
I had to get
a new camera. So that's where these super chats and things go to, is to buy the new equipment, stuff like that. Like, we're getting new software to edit and new stuff like that. So we use the money. We don't. Sadly, I'm not using it for candy and cigarettes. I'm using it for buying a new camera because it broke. Battery, because like for example, we were in the Serengeti and we were going through like 4 batteries a day. So I bought extra batteries, and those batteries, $60 a pop, they add up pretty quick. So there is that. So
going to Rome tomorrow. What are your recommendations for Italian dishes that are must tries in the restaurants or cafes?
So you actually have to have pizza in Rome because the water in Rome makes the pizza fantastic. The
fried
artichoke's good.
Zucchini flowers. I like those. I don't know. Both of those are more springtime foods. I don't know if it'll be easy. And the fried artichoke, you have to get in the Jewish section of town. That it's like a thing there.
Yeah. Paul Kruger, I use a Sony Alpha 6000. I've gone through, I think this is the 4th or 5th one now, just because we burn them through eventually. This one just kind of like, I couldn't film for more than 2 minutes before it would just shut down, so I had to get a new one.
Alexis Brinley, what is something that is not worth the time to do in London in August?
Madame Tussauds, don't waste your money. Don't go there. Does
anyone do that?
Yes. And it's like, I mean, last time I was there with the exchange rate, it was $50. And my friend I went with, I still remind her, I'm like, it was $50. She liked it. I didn't. I thought it was a waste of money. So.
Okay, there you go. I don't know, but London in August is going to be busy.
Yeah, and don't think it's going to be a rainy place. London, the summer is hot and sunny and stuff like that. So do have that. Jimmy UK, how do you deal with stop developing deep vein thrombosis as you travel a lot? So all those exercises they have in the back of the
safety. It's not the safety card.
No, it's not the safety card.
Book.
Yeah, they're like, oh, here's where we go. Here's some fluff articles. So like, I was on Delta and they had a whole workout, and so I went through and did the leg lifts and stuff like that. I always get up. I try to get up once every hour, once every other hour, and I'll go like by the bathroom and stretch my legs out. And I'm not doing like yoga stuff, but try to stretch out to help get the blood flow.
When you are on a really long flight, it is not a bad idea to wear the socks. What are those socks called? Compression socks. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I use compression socks all the time. They are fantastic because it really. I mean, it sounds safe, but they really do help. So,
Simpo, good night. Sleep well. Ding dang.
So our buddy Simpo from Australia has been writing us. Go big or home, massive. Oh, I guess I don't know what that one's from. It's 1:50 a.m. here in Australia. I'm heading off. Appreciate the videos and the sense of family community you guys share with us. Warmest greetings. Thank you, Simpo. I'm glad you could be a part of our traveling family here, buddy. And hopefully we'll see you in Australia in December or January if that's where we're going to go. According to Liam, that's when we're going. So thank you so much.
Do you want me to delete the trolls?
Yeah. So here's the thing is, so I'm gonna yes, because
that's pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, sometimes with the trolls and stuff like that, like since our thing is going at a different speed than yours, sometimes we don't see
it necessarily because things get mixed up. So if there's some trolls, then sorry.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like
you can always catch it.
Because we always try to we want to keep this as family as friendly as we can, but as it's the internet, sometimes or some people just get on there. I remember this one I was on, these people just started throwing up like Tolstoy quotes and stuff like this, and it got to the point like they were. I mean, it was obvious it was either a bot or they're just doing this. And so then I put them in a timeout for 30 seconds, and then they come on and they just started cussing. How dare you? This information should be shared. I'm like, it's Tolstoy, guys. Come on. This is a travel channel.
So Joey O, going to Vilnius in the autumn. Do you recommend this in the autumn? I think so. I think that would be pretty cool. I don't know how autumn you're going because it may be cold in Vilnius, but Vilnius is a cool town. I like it.
I worked there for a number of years, so it was a good time.
Yeah. We have been to Chattanooga. We've stayed there a couple of times, and I think it's a cool town.
But why do you have this?
Big turn.
What's with that turn?
Man, that turn kills me.
Because you're like, I'm kind of tired. You're like, if you're the person sleeping in the passenger seat, for those of you who know, there's a Mount Hill in Chattanooga, and the highway comes in, and you literally take like a 90-degree turn on the highway, and you're like, and so if you're the person sleeping, you're like, whoa! Going off to the side. So
grab a controller too. Can you explain the story of when Jocelyn sat next to that stinky guy in the plane? Let me tell you,
she gets it all the time.
I don't even know which.
She has a
story.
gift. She has a gift.
It doesn't matter.
There's a girl that smelled like she was in vodka. It was Costa Rica. Anytime we go to any party places,
it's always the party places when people have been like drowned in alcohol, beer, vodka, whatever, and then they've eaten like the stinkiest food alive. It's like that combination of alcohol and garlic. Please don't get super drunk right before you get on a plane. Like, I mean, have a cocktail and take a shower before you get on. Please and thank you.
Yes. So Lindsay, you guys need a moderator for sure. Yeah, I will say this. It has gotten, like, before we didn't really need the moderator too much. But I would say because we haven't done too many of these this summer because we've been gone traveling. So I would say, like, I've done 2, 3 this summer. This is the third one we've done this summer. Mm-hmm. And I will say, you're right. With there's been an uptick in the BS, basically, that people are putting over there. So probably need to get one of those.
Favorite museum in... Dang it, it was Berlin and somewhere else. So we said this earlier. You might not have been here, but Berlin, we both love the
Pergamon Museum.
The Pergamon and
Checkpoint Charlie Museum.
That whole area. And I don't know the other one. Warsaw. I don't know.
Warsaw. Go to the Resistance Museum in Warsaw and walk around the square. But in the other stuff downtown's nice. You can really see how proud the people are and how much they work to get Warsaw back to what it is after it got wiped out. So, Cali Diva for life. Have you been to Leavenworth, Washington? No, but I've been to Leavenworth, Kansas. My mom used to live there.
Yeah, right.
If that counts.
Right. Hang on 1 second. When are you guys going to Egypt? So, one of my good friends is Egyptian, and her brother is the tour guide there. So we're working on it. It's just a matter of time and weather.
Yeah,
we're gonna do it though.
We had a poll recently for those of you who look on our YouTube channel. So we actually had a poll recently, and number 1 was Australia, and number 2 was Egypt.
So those are 2 big wins.
So you guys want, and that's also we put on that because they're places we want to go to.
We want to go too.
So Dion Matthews, hey, good to see you again. Hey, Wolters fan, going to Munich in September. Do you think I can do Neuschwanstein Castle and Zugspitze in one day, or should I split them in 2-day trips?
2 because of the time.
Yeah, and the thing is because if you're gonna if you got your own transportation, that's different. But if you're taking the train yourself, thanks, buddy. Because Fusten is actually a cute town that Neuschwanstein's in, and you can have a nice day doing that. So I might split those 2 up that way. I know we missed another person. There's tons of things here. I'm sorry we're missing those.
Can you click on it at the top? Does that work? This doohickey to see it? No. Sorry.
I guess I got them all. Okay.
Sorry, kids.
Sorry. Because it's hard, because these things are going by so quick. So if I'm missing, we're obviously missing a lot of questions because there's a lot of questions here. So let's see. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom now to get us back into the thing. Okay.
What is your favorite place to visit in Switzerland? Probably Lucerne.
Lucerne's fantastic. And if you like doing adventure sports, Interlaken's fantastic as well. If you like to spend money, Zurich is fantastic. Go to Bahnhofstrasse and go shopping. You're going to drop a lot of money. Squingy, is Helsinki worth a stopover? Yes, I think it's worth a stopover.
Helsinki.
Yeah.
That was exactly what we did the first time we went to Helsinki because we had an 8-hour layover between there and China. And it was really good. We got to see some big stuff really fast, and then we got on out. Are you laughing at Malt Chronicles? Beer and garlic is definitely disgusting. My wife says so, and those are the nights she ignores all my romantic talents. I know, right?
I love you, Malt Chronicles. I love you.
Oh, kids. Just ridiculous.
Sorry.
Yes, Lazy Somebody said something. Have you been to Jamaica? Yes, we were just talking about that. We actually had a really great time. I loved what was the place where we were swinging in all the puddles? They're not puddles. It wasn't the blue hole. Was it the blue hole?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Well, there's multiple blue holes. This was the locals blue hole.
Yeah, we went to a lot of locals thing because I have a friend who is local.
And the thing is, and even the people who were there, they're like, "What are you doing here, tourist? Like,
oh,
you're not supposed to be here. Don't ruin it for us."
It was funny.
So someone was asking about going to Cancun, and we still recommend it. I still recommend it. I know there's been a slight uptick in things there, but most of the time it's not on tourist kind of stuff. I mean, you want to be smart, be back at your hotel, your resort, before evening and stuff like that. But I'd still go back to Cancun like that, no problem.
Thinking of going to Belize, yes or no? We really enjoy Belize. We went first. This is one of those places where we hired a driver, and they took us up. We flew into the city, and we went straight up to the north, and we were right on the border of Guatemala, and we went into Guatemala and saw Tikal. There's some really good Mayan ruins in Guatemala, but also right there along that area in Belize.
And that's also where you can go cave diving and cave rafting and stuff.
The rafting.
So some cool stuff there. So you can have like the adventurous Indiana Jones kind of adventure things in that part of Belize near the Guatemalan border, and it's fun. And you can go to Guatemala no problem. Mm-hmm. And then we went up to Key Coker, which is like in the Keys out there, the islands out in the sea. So
you know what? There are several keys. I think I would go back to somewhere other than Key Coker next time. Key Coker was cool, and we did some really great diving there. Or snorkeling, not diving, but there isn't a beach. It's like everything's kind of walled to protect this tiny little spit of land. So there might be other ones where you get more of a beach, but the people were cool. It was really laid back. Go slow, man. That's what they say.
Yes, go slow.
That's true.
Real Pro Gamer, any recommendations for Prague off there next Sunday? You eat duck, dumplings, and drink the beer because that's really good. You'll see there's so many things to take pictures of, but a lot of people just go from the Old Town Square, they walk to the Castle Hill and go over Charles Bridge, and they don't explore out more. So make sure you get to like the Jewish Quarter and see that. Just get out and explore more because you'll see
get off the beaten path, man.
The tourist path is beaten down, like and the prices once you go like a block off. My buddy and I were there in May, and it was unbelievable how much the price is still. Just 2 blocks off, it was like a 30% price discount everywhere you go.
You feel like cattle being herded to market on this one road, and then you get literally like just take a left or take a right and see the city. Mm-hmm. It's incredible. Favorite train trip you've taken? Lindsay asks. I think that's a good question.
The most beautiful one is going through Switzerland.
Yeah, I agree. It's absolutely
best way to see it, and probably cheapest way to see the country.
Yeah, definitely the cheapest way to enjoy Switzerland. And you could stop and grab some chocolates really fast and hop back on, and then you've got it all.
So, Mike Knight, have you been to Bethlehem? Your girlfriend wants to go.
We're going to
go there. That's going to be part of our stuff when we go to Israel later this year. So we have that.
I wish...
Party time. Excellent, my friend.
I wish I could find someone to marry who loves to travel. It's important.
It is important.
At least for us, it was. I mean,
and that's one of the things. We actually get quite a few questions for people like, "Hey, how do I get my wife to want to travel? How do I get my husband to want to travel, or my boyfriend? Like, what can we do to kind of inspire them to travel?" Because not everyone's
take them on a good trip.
Yeah,
but make it an easy trip where it's not really pressureful, right?
Yeah.
That's a good thing. So,
wow, we've been doing this for 2 hours. My battery's about to die. Kate Fro, is Vancouver worth visiting? I would do Seattle over Vancouver. Vancouver, I feel, is one of the most overrated places to visit. Unless you like outdoor stuff. If you like outdoor stuff, it's worth it. But if you don't, it's nice. But I like Seattle and Portland better.
Patricia, I'm going to solo to Japan. Any problems traveling to different areas? No. Japan is extremely safe. I felt very comfortable everywhere we were. And I even went out on my own and went shopping by myself without Mark and the kids, and I felt fine. It was no big deal.
Ted Landway, is Salzburg a good base camp to venture further into Austria? Well, for a few things. So. Well, no, because going from there. Yeah, okay.
I think, all right, well, he disagrees with me.
No, it can be. It can be. But it could make a base to go into some of Germany as well as Austria for that. Mm-hmm. So, so Indiana, you like all things Disney, then you'll love Disney. Don't worry about it. Sorry, I'm gonna go get a drink.
All right.
KLM is my favorite European airline.
And
EasyJet.
I was gonna say, what about EasyJet? So EasyJet's really cheap. It has no frills, but it's cheap, and that's kind of nice. All right. Hey, Mark, would you say the Louvre is overrated? Lord, no. It's one of the greatest in the world. What other painting sites are there other than the Mona Lisa? So when you see the Mona Lisa, she's fine. She's the Mona Lisa.
But realize it's this big, and you'll have 4,000 people in front of it, and
it's pain in the rear end.
Yeah, but there's so many other things to see.
But you turn around and there's the wedding at Cana, and it's absolutely amazing. I absolutely love the wedding at Cana. It's one of my favorites. But wander, get away from that crowd, and you'll see some amazing works of art. Just absolutely awesome. As someone who loves architecture, I really love the Napoleon rooms. It's something completely different, but really cool.
Mark Johnson, hey, I'm glad our videos in Japan could help you out on your trip. That's really cool to hear.
That jet lag sucks.
Yeah, that jet lag. Yeah, that's just so many hours. There's not much you can do, my friend.
Nescafe frappe, man, gets you through. All right.
Let's see. Well, because my battery's about to die here, so we're going to have to go soon. But 2 hours of helping other travelers and having such great conversation. We really want to say thank you to all of you that have been sending the questions. And the ones we didn't get answered, we're so sorry we didn't get to answer them. It's just, we try, but the battery is dying, and I'm about choked to death on a healthy bar. So, anyway, we'll do a few more questions and we'll get out of here. Right. Any experiences on Norwegian Airlines? No, I have not flown with Norwegian Airlines. Anytime it's a transatlantic, I do not do the low cost stuff because it's too long and I'm too big. I don't want to deal with those things. I want to have my own entertainment. I want to have some. Even if I actually don't eat the meals most of the time on the flights, but still I want the option on there. I don't want to have to pay for every little thing for a long flight. Short flights under 3 hours, I don't care. But over that, no, I'm not cool with that. Thanks you, Paul Kruger, for the kind words.
Someone asked about overcoming jet lag. So I drink coffee or things at strategic points in the day. 10 o'clock in the morning, I have a little bit. Around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I have a little bit, but no later than that because otherwise I won't then go to sleep at night.
Dark chocolate helps well.
Dark chocolate
in my bar here.
There you go. So we're just, smatterings throughout the day, 8, 10, noon, 3, through there, just little kicks of coffee or something help me a lot.
So.
All right.
Well, thank you everybody for watching. We'll try to get more questions in. We'll try to do some more of these this summer since we're home for a little bit. So I'll try to throw in some random ones because I know sometimes people can't do it on a Saturday morning. So we'll try to do one on a weekday evening or something like that so people have some time because I want you all to enjoy your weekends over the summer. And wish you all the best. And thank you so much. Mall Chronicles, buddy. Be good. Michael, thank you very much.
Yep, bye,
everybody
guys.
else, Tom, Indiana, Wayne, everybody. Mall, y'all be good. And thank you very much for all your support. And wish you all the best. If you want to check out our website at Wolters World to read some of the blogs, you can see us on Twitter and Instagram. Just look up Wolters World. Or you can see Jocelyn at Jocelyn Wolters World. She's got her own stuff as well. And we wish you all the best. Thank you, everybody.
Bye, kids.
Great
Thanks.
travels. If you're all taking off, be safe and safe flights.
Be safe. Yep. Bye.